Welcome to That's Absurd Podcast, your source for everything hip-hop, pop culture, sports, and more. Tune in, subscribe,
That's
enjoy.
Podcast. I go by the name of Juno, aka Melvo.
It's your boy GDP.
And your boy Gray.
And today we got a special
guest in the building
coming on with us
repeat
today.
guest, Dr. Pierre, is in the building.
We got Dr. Pierre in the building. You know, we have the doctor on site in case somebody pass out.
This is our special 1 year COVID cover. You know, our 1 year COVID special. See where we're at.
Yes.
Yeah.
Try to myth bust some things, cover new things. See what else we're going with.
But Dr. Berry, how's the practice going along?
You know, the hospital's good. What's interesting now, we're seeing, we're not necessarily seeing the COVID numbers that we're seeing. They're still coming. We're not necessarily seeing them, but all those people who've been avoiding us and not going to the hospital when they should have gone to the hospital, not taking the medications, because not only were they avoiding the hospital, they were avoiding their doctor's office. So you got a lot of uncontrolled blood pressures running around, heart attacks running around, all these kind of long-standing problems that are starting to come back into fruition.
Okay.
So unfortunately, the hospital is still booming.
Wow. For some reason, it's
So-
like the perception is like it seems like it's not as serious as it was before.
Oh, y'all want to
So-
lead right into COVID? Y'all want to lead right into
Yeah,
COVID?
let's go. Let's talk about the elephant across the world.
I think y'all know what I'm saying. Gray, you saying it doesn't seem like it's not as serious as before.
No.
The myth or truth? Because we got some stuff we want to bust out here. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, it's
Florida, I don't know what.
And
it's
Florida definitely doesn't seem
Florida.
like it's serious.
Florida. If you would have asked Florida acted like we were all good months ago, right? Which we weren't. I will say that yes, the number, especially the cases, are going down. What we're seeing now, especially in regards to COVID, people who are getting vaccinated because they've been thirsty to get out back into the real world. So we're still got some places social distancing, some places wearing their masks, so that's helping as well. So we're definitely seeing a decrease in the numbers. And I can tell you, we're not checking as many people as well too. So of course it's easy to have a decrease in the numbers when I'm checking less often in that regards. And now it's, at least here in Florida, it's getting just as easy to get the COVID vaccine as it is to get the COVID tests. So definitely a lot of positives for sure. And of course we're in a bubble, right? The United States. We're in a bubble because if you ask the rest of the world, COVID is not all good. But here we got an abundance of riches. So we have that luxury.
Well, there's two places that's apparently I've seen articles of which Haiti isn't having. They're surprised how the COVID levels are so low over there. I'm not sure.
They're probably not checking as much.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's that or the simple fact that they have, they have more stuff to worry about than the COVID. They ain't got time to slow down for this. You know what I'm saying?
We got bigger issues in COVID.
We got bigger issues. It could be because they're in a very sunny area. They're in the West Ham, so I'm not sure how much of the role that plays.
Sir, you sound like Trump talking about we're in the sunny area.
Yeah. No. What happens is outside of the country, more countries smarted up. Haiti was one of them that says that if you're from the U.S. and places like that, don't come here. So they did a good job blocking us from going there in the beginning, and that really helped what they've seen.
Right? Gray's laughing.
Yeah.
Gray's like, Gray can't believe the insult.
Right.
Tables turned. Just,
I heard we can't even get into like the UK or France right now. Like Americans need not apply.
There was a time frame where if you are from, we've said this before, like if you are from the United States, like if I'm a different country, like I need to see your test. I want to see your test when you get here. I want to see your test before you leave. Like that's how contagious we were to the rest of the world. And it was, so now when we fast forward, it's obvious that some of these countries who wouldn't let us go over there are having low numbers because they never had that blow up like we had.
Okay, you're speaking on the availability of vaccines. Are you vaccinated?
Oh, 100%. The second I had an opportunity.
Two dose.
I'm 2 dose.
Fully?
I'm part of Moderna Mafia. My wife is on Pfizer gang, right? My mom's Moderna Mafia, right? Like it's for sure.
Y'all don't want to throw in that Johnson & Johnson in the mix, one extra arm just for good luck?
So, I mean, you got vaccinated. What do you think about the vaccine?
Vaccine works absolutely. It's been phenomenal. Especially we could talk about the first two Moderna and Pfizer.
Well, before you jump off of that, right? Before you get in there, because I want to have a space a couple myths as well. First, we have the Haiti thing. So you believe it's because the simple fact of them shielding themselves from the U.S. is how they got on it.
Well, it's a combination. One, their public health structure ain't that good. So to have a number of cases, you got to be able to effectively be able to test a lot of people. They can't do that.
We're getting more results because we're testing for more results.
Correct. So, but they were smart and
so simply don't test for
refusing us. Right. And I mean, honestly, that's kind of what's happening here in the United States. Like we're not testing as often as we would have in the past because we got treatment that's readily available. So if you're sitting there having symptoms, right, you might as well just take it to the hospital. What you getting tested for?
I haven't tested nobody in this house, so I could say we're all 100% COVID free here. No science is backing this, mind you, but in theory, the state does work. They have one more. Here's the issue. Okay, well, Florida, right? Florida's like the Wild West, as you can say. It feels like freedom town where everyone's locked down. But because we have so much misinformation and information, we had the issue with, we have our governor who seems to be cool with trying to open everything up or not paying attention, lowering the numbers. Because of him, though, I can say he did a 50-50 job because Florida did end up being the second biggest economy in the U.S. last year. But we had the issue of them. There was the rumor that he was lying about the numbers. You fast forward.
I can't even say if it's a rumor. The person who was typically in charge of kind of running those numbers, he fired her.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
Because she wanted to report higher incidents.
But fast forward to this is one story that just came out. That lady, I guess she did something wrong. She was negligent. She was about to get fired. And before she got fired, she just sent out a CC to everyone saying that I'm quitting because I won't fudge the numbers, this, that, and the third. And she quit. Come to find out, she never even had the authorities to fudge the numbers.
Oh, wow.
You know how that whole story, she had her own COVID dashboard. Yeah, that apparently all that's a lie. She never had the authorities to fudge the numbers. She just was about to get the boot for messing up the reporting on the front end, and she almost got ahead of it. And she was getting, remember at first she was going all to the media outlets, all that stuff, they're picking her up. Notice how you don't see her anymore. No coverage.
What happened, unfortunately, she had to move. So she's not even in the state of Florida.
But I'm saying she's no longer doing
media. They kicked her in the door.
The state.
No, she moved to a different state. They kicked her in the door. And because I was reading a report, like she's actually, in the process of a lawsuit. So she's almost like in this gag situation where she can't really say, what she wants to say while that process is going on.
Well, I don't know if this is left wing. I don't know what I'm hearing, or right wing. From what I was hearing reports, they're saying that she never had the authority to change the thing. That's one. And the reason her door got kicked in is she was using the credentials to still log in to get the information and try to post, federal stuff. So that's what happened. But that's why we're not hearing from her more. And we're in a time that has so much misinformation and information that you know how it goes. Every time someone's a bad critic, it helps undermine the efforts. If you lie about one thing, then you get a I got you moment. This person was lying. You know what I'm saying? That's how, just like I started with COVID. Remember at the very beginning of COVID, there was no mask. And then the person take over, and now the person, I got you, they've been lying. You know what I'm saying? So each time, instead of it being scientific based, more information, we adjust accordingly. The naysayers are always going to use it as a reason. You know what I'm saying? As a reason.
Yeah, no, it's the people, and I've said this kind of on my socials, like the people who didn't believe in masks, right? Didn't believe in social distancing, didn't believe that we should be closing schools. You could tell them whatever you want. They're likely the same people who don't think that the vaccines are going to work. They're likely the same people, so they're going to follow that anyways. And those are the people. Again, we have to. I said this before. We have to let natural selection occur. Right? Like we can only do so much, right? Like if those people want to be on that side, allow them to be on that side, because that's a losing battle over there. Like so, I don't even expel energy to those folks. Cause like, hey, you don't want to. If you don't believe, there's some people now, right? 2021 who don't believe COVID is a thing.
I mean,
right? Which sounds crazy.
Let the record show. I said on this podcast, the mask is a good thing before anyone else did, because I said there's no downside. I didn't see a downside. There really is no downside. Whether it's two particles, it's too small. I've been told y'all, wear a mask. I used to work in a hospital. They make you wear a mask. There's no reason not to wear a mask. What's the worst that's going to happen? And the next thing you know, fast forward, mask end up working. You see, there's always go with the no downside. If you're an atheist, why be an atheist? Cover your back, pray to God just in case you get there. There is a God. There's no downside. That's how I live my life. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I thought there was no reason not to wear a mask. It just made sense. If it was something I was, what's the name? But there was something you touched on right there that I was pretty big on them not believing. Geez, you made me forget. It was another myth in there that there was going against.
Oh, I got a list of them. I've unfortunately had to, combat, a lot of the, especially like there's people like who truly believe that like I'm a paid agent by Pfizer or Moderna or Johnson. They feel like I have to be getting paid because there's no way I could be championing, the treatment courses that I am. There's like, they just can't believe it, that I have to be getting paid by some big pharmaceutical company. And I keep asking them, like, where is it at? Like, how do I get access to the check? Like, because clearly I've been missing it.
What makes COVID so different than any other thing is because you have specialists like you who are that are in the field, but you also have specialists that are nurses and all that. They ask them, oh no, not me. I give the patients. I don't take myself. You know what I'm saying? So you have professionals on both sides. You have one that's saying this is just fine, that's lived by what's saying, but you have ones that are also applying it to people, but they haven't done it themselves. They're like, nah, I ain't doing it. So it is a very unique situation. Like, nah, this shit's too long, I'm gonna let it ride. But they have no problem injecting someone. So it is very unique. I know for sure, because I know you, that you're not no agent or anything like that. But there is that, everyone, there's an agent, there's that, yeah, you do. It is kind of crazy for people to think that there's this big grand conspiracy, that there must be some kind of check the government's cutting.
Gotta be. And I tell people all the time,
I want to know, is there a way I can get into?
Right. This is what I tell people, right? Like, let's start with the government conspiracy, right? If I was establishing a government conspiracy, right? Let's say the Black community, right? If I want to get to the Black community, first of all, we don't take vaccines like that in the first place, right? Yeah. So if I'm gonna establish something to get to the Black community, guess what? I'm gonna put it in water. I'm gonna put it in soda. I'm gonna put it in your food that you eat every single day. I'm not gonna put it in a vaccine. Yeah, that's not like from a business standpoint, that is not the most effective way to get into the Black community. So when I try to tell people from an effective standpoint, I would be dumb to say, you know what? This is how I'm going to get to the Black community. I'm going to get a vaccine that I develop in a year, and then that's how I'm making. And we know for a fact all the Black people are going to take it. Like that's like, it doesn't make no sense from an effective standpoint. That's why I try to like rationalize. Because again, when you hear detractors, right? Like you have to kind of listen why they're detracting, right? I like to listen why they're detracting, right? Again, and we're not here. I say natural selection because natural selection is what it is. I'm not here to necessarily discount what you believe your truth is. I want to hear it, right? But like, I want to bring some rationale to your way of thinking, right? Like, again, if you think this is like some government like plan, no, I'm gonna put it in the beef in McDonald's, in the pork.
Greg just gave us a better one, Popeyes. That's perfect.
Chicken in general.
But you remember that Popeyes craze? That could have when COVID started for all we know. We might have to look that back. Right? You might be onto something.
That's where I would have did it.
That's one hell of a conspiracy, though. The Popeyes.
Yeah. Also, I want to ask, like, do you think this vaccine might have any effect down the line, like
long term,
any negative?
Yeah, you know what's interesting right now, it's so early, right? Again, we're especially we're in May, right? So we are a year and like 5 months dealing with COVID, the virus, right? And I'm very astonished, right? Like, because I get that question a lot. Like, are we going to have long-term effects from the vaccine, right? And I said, yeah, we may, just like we may have long-term effects from the actual virus. Like, more people ask me about the long-term effects of the vaccine than they ask me for the long-term effects of the virus that is still here and kicking.
True.
Like, so,
and it's
like,
very
I don't know why we skip. I'm always shocked that we skip the fact that like the virus is an issue, right? Like, again, like it's just like the flu virus, expect us to have a COVID vaccine on a year-to-year basis. That's going to happen, right? I've said this before, like that's going to happen because COVID not going nowhere. We're still living in a pandemic, as we speak. Like I said, we're in the U.S., so we're kind of blessed. But in India, 3,000 people die every day. Like as we speak, and 3,000 people are dying from the COVID right now. So we are so far like away from a level of normalcy worldwide. But yeah, I always get that question, like, is there an issue? It's possible, right? But I'd rather take my chances with the vaccine.
I mean, here's the thing with the vaccine, we haven't heard of long-term. We've heard the very few cases of the blood clot. And other than that, maybe people sore arm. But of COVID, the side effects I've heard of COVID so far, the list is so crazy. We've heard that you heard of one of the people having like the swollen tongue.
So we have swollen tongue.
Swollen tongue. Memory loss.
We have athletes who still don't breathe normally, like fitted athletes who still don't breathe normally, and those are people who survived COVID.
Yep. Yeah, I'm talking about survivors. You have memory loss. The people with the little the purple spots on their feet. This thing every day, it seems like there's another side effect. And I don't know if maybe people have different strands, but I'm always hearing of a different thing, a different agent that might be associated with COVID.
Yeah, I think at this point now, at least here in the United States, we have at least 8 different strands of the COVID now. It's smattered across the country. We have like 8 different types. Some are more contagious than others. Some are more deadlier than others. But fortunately, right, you know what? The vaccine does a great job against all those types, right? Like, so again, we have some, we're not necessarily out of the woods yet. We are getting there. We're closer than what we were, 6 months ago. But we definitely still got some work to do.
Okay.
2 vaccines, Johnson & Johnson and Pfizer.
Mm-hmm.
Johnson & Johnson again, no play in America no more.
I would ask, which one you recommend,
Yeah, no. There's no very good question. So when you want to think about the vaccines, I would group Johnson & Johnson and Moderna as one, and then I would group the Moderna and Pfizer as one, and then the Johnson & Johnson is separate. Reason being is that the Johnson & Johnson is a vector related vaccine, meaning that they had to inject the vaccine. Again, the playbook, I like to describe it as in a vaccine capsule to deliver it to you. Versus the Moderna and Pfizer, that's a newer technology. And that is where they again ejected the playbook, but within this kind of protein. Like I said, we don't need to get necessarily scientific here. So it's 2 different aspects of introduction. And that's why with the Moderna and Pfizer, you need 2 doses, but with the Johnson & Johnson, you just need the 1.
Well, here's the thing. When you follow enough of these conspiracies theories, these conehead people, the thing is, a good conspiracy always works with an ounce of truth in there, or a little bit of truth, little speculation. So there's stuff that they're right about. There's something that's wrong about. Like, let's say the origin of COVID. You know what I'm saying? They were saying that it was man-made. Some people it wasn't. It's looking more and more like it might have came. This was now from according to them that it might have been man-made, but no one's saying that it's intentional. That it might have came from. It was, I don't know if it was a Wuhan installation or whatever it is. What's name? Because they said that there was 2 doctors that had similar out of November that were checked in the hospital for the similar things in November. But the thing is, even though it was in Wuhan, it still was an American-backed scientific project. That's called the gain of function research. You ever heard of
that? No.
Gain of function research and basically is when they taking diseases and stuff like that aren't there yet. They're man-making them, so we can already have a vaccine or something in play ahead of time. So let's say they'll take a bird flu and a bat. They'll put the combination together. They do it in the labs. And it's basically just in case if the thing jumps, we're not playing catch up. It's not back, it's back. You know what I'm saying? It's usually behind closed doors, it's high end, it's funding. What's the name? So they said it was a gain of function, what is called gain of function research at the Wuhan Institute of Virology that it was done. And they felt that's where it broke out from. The issue is now what it looks like. They said that it broke out. It did come from Wuhan, but Trump was doing such a bad job of responding to COVID. He just backed up and said that it was China intentionally doing it without mentioning that it's America who funds said project. You know what I'm saying? So it could
I especially, a project like that, you would hope, right? Would be in secret, right? So
the thing is,
their ability to get all that information, like imagine us knowing, right, about like that much detail about a project, like how bad of a job could you be doing, right? That's keeping true. That like under wraps. The
issue
right?
with
so that's
is,
where especially with the conspiracy theorists, right? Like you hear that, right? And it sounds plausible, right? But like it's like, like that's very like just from a rationale standpoint, like that's kind of weird. That's kind of crazy. And then why out of all the places like Wuhan?
Well, right? The thing is, we have a gain of function thing down here. Fauci was in the last time he was in the Senate. You know him and Rand Paul always go back and forth. Rand Paul tries to get the straps off him. Fauci's thing was saying no, that has nothing to do with it. It's like they do have a gain of function research, they do it, but that's here in the United States. They don't have one over in Wuhan. As they look into it, I don't know, as far as I'm looking at outside of things that aren't really mainstream, they're trying to say that it was the Wuhan one was backed by us. So it wasn't that it was intentional. It was Chinese scientists, but it was backed by us. So it looked like it was both sides. So China, from how it looks like, apparently, it looks like, let's say it did get out by accident. US tries to play the China did it on purpose stunt because they're doing such a bad response. China flips the script and does that. No, this did not come from here at all. You already seen how they do with the Africans, treating them like they're the ones that had to. Remember when the Africans are coming back from overseas going to school and they were doing type COVID protocols to them. A lot of the locals are treating them like they were the ones that are bringing it in. So they did a good PR standpoint of making it like, no, this didn't come from here. US made it seem like it was intentional on their end. But Fauci, the whole time, he was in charge of said viral thing since back then. I don't know. It's so much of a
no. It's like I said, it definitely, because again, like the study of viruses and vaccines related to it isn't a new.
It's not new.
Isn't a new thing. It's not a new process. So it. Would it shock me, right? Like if our government was working on certain viruses and certain vaccines for said, it wouldn't shock me whatsoever. What would shock me is that they would allow so much level of detail, right, to just be out in the public where we can like Google, right, and understand like who was working. Like that would be so like you can have that truth that like our government's working with viruses, our government working with new set 100%. Are they specifically working with the coronavirus that didn't jump to like or that? Like it'd be much more harder to necessarily make like the connection.
And then you see how it works where Fauci ends up the ultimate winner of all this in the sense like Fauci's been in the MVP since helping the AIDS epidemic back in the days, right? You break out a new epidemic, accident or not, they're gonna call the MVP to the stage. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
But yeah, and you know what's happening. This was one of the the biggest issues with Trump. Like I think I posted on my social one time. People are acting like Fauci just kind of turned the corner. And
they size Fauci exactly.
This man has been. I'm an internist. This man it has been an offer for one of our leading foundational books for almost 15 years.
Yeah, exactly.
They acted like he just kind of just lucked up into this position that he was in. He's been the lead infectious disease guy for over a decade, right? So if you're gonna have some infectious disease, you better call him. I'm gonna ask why you ain't call Fauci? That's the guy you're supposed to call.
Well, we live in this social media thing where if you pop up and become famous, they would look at you like you're Dr. Oz.
Yeah, exactly.
Versus the
fact that he had actually
physician and scientist.
Yeah, it's a lack of respect for professionals.
It's not only that though. I blame Fauci in some sense too, because he's worried about PR, he is always playing catch up. Like I said, the mask thing, he didn't want people to blow it out of proportion because Trump didn't want people to blow it out of proportion. He was taking notes on the president's behalf. He didn't get the reign, whatever he wanted to do until Trump was out of office. You can see the load was off his shoulder. But that whole talking out of both sides or being cool because the boss, it's not your job to be cool. You're just a doctor. Run as is. He's going to fire you. Trump made him look as uncredible as he could because he was kind of following Trump's lead. Trump would say one thing, then
Trump little bro him.
And undermine it. And Trump would undermine it. And sometimes when Trump was there, he'd just not say anything. And I was like, nah, you can't be trying to worry about how this guy's going. You can't be afraid to even get fired, bro. Because at this end of the day, you're trying to do your job. You know what I'm saying? That simple as that. It is the whole thing. Even now, as you see them lifting the mask mandates, we're in the middle of a pandemic. Why are they lifting the mask mandates? Because the American people are tired of it. Because you're tired of something isn't a reason to lift a mandate. There should be no lift mandate right now yet. We're not out of this thing. But because we're tired of it, we're just going back to normal, guys. We're cutting the dates out. We're opening, guys. It's back to normal. That's not how viruses work.
Okay. Barry, are you seeing people not take COVID as serious as they should? And they're looking at it like, oh, it's just COVID. Because we literally been on here for a minute and we didn't talk about the virus. We've been talking about conspiracy theories and everything outside of the actual virus.
That's part of it. That's the reason.
No, I'm talking about the seriousness of the actual virus is almost gone.
It's not gone.
And I think they've been especially in the public eye. The public eye has totally downplayed just what COVID is in general. And you know that because again, majority of the questions I get always seem to be about, oh, what about the treatment? Oh my God, what about the vaccine? What about fam, do you know what happens if you get COVID? Right? Do you know you have almost a 10-fold chance of getting a blood clot from getting COVID versus if you happen to get the vaccine, right? But they're so focused because they've totally downplayed just how bad COVID is. I'm still in the hospital, right? I still got to wear a mask. I still got to gown up, right? I that fear, and I'm double vaxxed up, ready to go, right? But I'm not walking into a room, especially if I think you may have COVID, that's the level. And especially because they're not talking to a lot of people who are on the other side, who've had COVID, who've been in a hospital. Maybe they got a trait. Maybe they got a pay.
Them anymore. They don't even get.
No, they don't. They're not even talking to those people.
The victims aren't even on TV anymore, bro.
So now they're out of sight, out of mind, right? And they're still, even though they've done dealt with COVID for 3 months, for 6 months, they're still dealing with the problems, right? No one's actually talking to them either, right? So it's this whole aspect of oh, it's just COVID. Come on, I'll wear my mask, or I'm not going to wear my mask and keep it moving.
That's the feeling I'm getting around COVID is that people are not even afraid to catch it no more. It's like catching a flu now.
But that's only
it's
in America.
Normal.
That's only in America though. But I call it
I can only speak about America because that's where I've experienced the reaction to COVID is in America. So
that's only in America.
I'm in New York. They're starting to shut down testing sites. The numbers are down from people even coming to get tested. Like it's down 50%. They need less workers. So I don't even know how long we're gonna be up here for COVID, because no one is taking it serious anymore up here.
And that's where we talked about, like, when, like, we're having less numbers total, but because less people are getting checked, right? Because less people are like, oh, I'm ready to go. Like, less people, again, people have mentally have mentally already like looked past COVID, as if COVID is good to go. Like, all right, open everything back up again. I'm ready to frolic and talk, and have people talk all over me. Like they're ready to do it.
We're such a capitalist.
And I think it's also like a lack of support too, like from the government. It's like, what do you choose? Do you choose to catch this virus and possibly die, or you choose to just like suffer and starve to death? At
in America,
you might as well just like take.
You might as well cut this bad boy free. Yeah, we'll let us free.
Then you just sit home and starve to death, and because like there's still accepting money at the grocery stores. You still gotta have money to buy food.
This is true.
It's
it is. We're such in a capitalist system that people are just ready.
The bills are still coming in.
Between dwindling accounts and just the fun student. People like that. People are just ready to. People are over it, which is definitely not a good enough reason. But like I said, I hate to see when the people are over it, the medical community going along with it. Like, all right, they're over it. We're gonna now lax mask. I just don't understand the whole drop in the mask mandate.
So what's your take on this CDC dropping the mask?
So the CDC issue, right? There's a big issue, right, with the CDC aspect. First of all, like for those who may not be aware, the CDC mandate says if you are vaxxed up, right, if you actually got vaccinated, right, we know that the vaccines work so well, right, that you don't need to wear a mask, right? That's what the CDC guideline. Like, of course, a lot of people are like, oh, we don't got to wear masks anymore. But the problem is the CDC is banking on this honor system that folks who did not get masked up, who did not get vaccinated, are going to say, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't get vaccinated, so I'm going to keep my mask on. We know in this country that ain't happening, right? So we already know you're going to have, self I don't want to say selfish, right? But people who only think to themselves, right? That like, I'm not wearing my. First of all, I didn't want to wear my mask anyways, and I'm definitely not wearing my mask now. So they're going to frolic with those same people who are vaccinated, good to go. Now, fortunately, because we know the vaccines work so well, the people who got vaccinated, they may be okay, right? They're likely going to be okay. They're likely not going to have any symptoms. And if they do, they're going to be very mild. They're not likely going to have to see someone like me in the hospital. But the problem is that they didn't, like, let's say all four of us, right? We walk into the club, right? 3 of us are vaxxed up. 1 of us is not, right? And then 1 of us is not, ends up getting COVID, gives it to us. We may not have no symptoms whatsoever, right? But then when all 3 of us depart, we go to our homes, right? We go talk to grandma, we go talk to mom, we go talk to people who may also not be vaccinated. That's when that problems arise, right? Because now grandma who's not vaccinated picks up COVID from the 4 of us, right? Because we were chilling with that 4th, right? Who wasn't protecting themselves, right? So, and that's where the ball, unfortunately, is rising. So you see the CDC recommendation, CDC, they're basing it on the science. And yes, the science is good. Yes, the vaccines work. The problem is a lot of us in the community who are vaccinated, we're looking at the social science and looking like, hey, like, have you been in this country before? I don't trust that the only people who are going to walk around without a mask are going to be only the vaccinated. I just don't trust it. Because we already know folks don't wash their hands. That was clearly proven, right? We already know folks don't, socially distance like they need to. That was clearly proven. And I talked this week about the flu, right? The flu at this moment, we got about 2,800 cases of the flu. This time last year was 39 million. Right. It's like, so if you don't think that wearing a mask and social distancing works, the flu should be the direct.
I like
should
that.
Be the direct.
I like that because conspiracists like to pretend like they're like, where'd the flu go? The flu disappeared.
The flu didn't disappear. It's just because we actually did what we were supposed to do. And again, it wasn't even we know it wasn't 100%. Right. We know 100% of the people who were supposed to do what they're supposed to do for COVID didn't happen. Right. So we got enough people, right, to wear their masks, to social distance, to do what they need to do, that you can't even. I have not diagnosed the flu this whole season. I have I'm looking for the flu. I can't find a person with the flu in my hospital. Right. Again.
Right. We were just talking about this my wife and I were just talking about it, and she has some friends that are PAs that work at like CVS, and they asked her, "Hey, have you even given a flu shot this year?" And she was like, "For the past 3 months, only one person came in for the flu shot."
Yes. Now, and of course, so imagine me, right? Y'all know me. I've been on get the flu vaccine, get the flu vaccine.
Yeah, you're
so
right.
Now,
no
one got the flu.
You've been an agent for a long time, probably. Like, you've been
yeah, they've been paying me for a while, man. Like I said, so I've been telling folks, no, you should get the flu shot, get the flu shot. And now folks can be like, hey, Dr. Pierre, come on. Only 2,800 in the whole country since October, right, got the flu. Like, I don't need to get a flu. So it's even harder for me, right, because if I couldn't sell you to get the flu shot when 39 million people had it, I definitely can't sell you to get it when only 2,800. It just like if you didn't believe me when 39 million people have it, you definitely not listening to me when only 2,800 for you to get that flu vaccine. So, but again, that's how we know social again. And mind you, all we told folks to do is wash their hands and wear a mask. That's all we told folks to do. If you talk to people who got allergies, people who usually get a cold, they ain't even had nothing. Like all of that stuff that they typically get around this time frame ain't even happening because of COVID. Of course, it's going to be scary, right? Because now that we start, especially in this country, start unmasking up, what used to be cold and flu season, I think is going to get pushed. Right, so we may start seeing it much later than even we expect, which is, again, I don't want to be hyperbolous, but like that may be something, down the pipe, especially with people wanting to unmask already.
Could this cause like another outbreak of some sort?
Like another issue.
It could cause hospitals being slammed because let's not forget.
Because before pre-COVID, what used the hospital again business has always been good in the hospital, right?
That's what I'm saying. Let's not forget the business is booming.
The business has always been booming, right? But what it used to boom is with the flu patients. So patients with the flu who would get intubated and all these things there. But now the COVID is what caused it, and that COVID is essentially, like I said, I haven't diagnosed a single one this whole season yet.
Yeah, another issue I see is like, say now, okay, they lift the mask mandate for people who are vaccinated.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna have the issue with like people who are not vaccinated who refuse to take the vaccine, complain and say, why do I have to wear my mask if this person doesn't have to?
They've been saying that all along.
You giving them a lot of credit because they're not gonna complain. They just taking it off.
Exactly. They've been saying that all along. Yeah,
I've already seen this.
So that's what I'm saying.
Out.
Yeah. So when they get checked, then say like okay, show us your whatever vaccine card or whatever a proof you've been vaccinated. Well, now you have the issue where like well, I don't need to be vaccinated. I don't need to it's gonna. I see that.
I don't see us again, especially because this country typically thinks for itself. I don't see us, walking around with vaccine cards, which again, but it's comical, right? Because let you want to go to a different country, you'll jump through hoops, right, to get every COVID test known to man. You'll jump through every hoop that country says, like, oh, you're not coming here until you get this COVID test 3 days before, and then when you get here, you'll jump through hoops because you have no problem. But like while you're here in this country, you don't care.
It's American ignorance. It's people that don't travel that think that a vaccine's passport is a thing. Like all passports, certain countries you have to pre-vaccinate to get there. If you're coming into America, some places you have to vaccine just to even come here.
I mean, we don't even need to think about traveling. Like folks who are, in undergrad and all, like you don't go to these undergrad places not being vaccinated. You gotta send them that whole vaccination record to say like, no, I don't have meningitis, I don't have this, right? Like you gotta do all that too. But like we just like assuming that this is like some new, like, oh my God, like I'm like I gotta show my vaccine. Like I know a vaccine card around here somewhere, but like it's never been that serious the way people have made it, like which is comical.
That
you
plays
into
like
we're like
gonna run it.
You think we're gonna operate like that wherever we gotta go and whenever we gotta travel, or
in this country
being vaccinated? Not just this country, but even abroad, even
Oh, I mean, I could definitely see abroad saying something like, again, you can't go to Africa right now.
If you're American, they're not messing with you anyways right now. They're not even messing with you if you're American in a lot of places.
Right. So
yeah, I'm in right now.
Like it's like if you go pre-COVID to travel to certain countries, you had to show that stuff. Like it's not a new thing. that you got to show certain vaccine records before you go to a different place. Like that's not like, again, people just like are driving home the fact that they make it seem like COVID is what's like spearheading this thing. We're like, damn, like we've been asking y'all, like, have you been tested for the yellow fever? Like that's a question, right? We got to ask you if you go to certain parts in Africa. Like that's just a, like, and of course, like I said, you'll fill out the report quick because you want to go to a certain part of Africa. But now that we talk about COVID, all of a sudden it's like, oh, it's a hindrance of my rights.
I can see how this is going to play out because of our ignorance. We're going to be the ones that least likely to take it. And then instead of be known as the China flu, the Chinese flu, around the world, when Americans come around, they're like, oh, you got that American shit on. Have you been tested? They're going to look at it like, we're the one. They're like, have you been tested? Yeah, because we want to look at American shit over here. That's how
I definitely would.
That's the branding.
It's, like I said, we have, as we speak, we got like 8 different strains. And this was like 3 months ago when I was researching that. There's at least 8 different strains just kind of walking around the country. Because again, this, we've never stopped traveling. We never stopped doing those types of things there. And again, you should, I would expect to see, a bump in our numbers, right? Like I know we have a lot of our health professionals, especially the traveling nurses, right? Who may be concerned, like, all right, they're coming off the mask, maybe trust me, it ain't gonna slow down no time soon. And actually now, like, I don't know if you looked into it, like, you got to look into how much they're stamping nurses to go to India. Like, if y'all really want to get paid,
you trying to get that
really
bag,
I'm good.
That game changer, they go amongst the billions.
Mumbai.
Yeah, I gotta get that bag.
I mean, like across the world, like they need, they just need bodies there badly. Like so again, that's what I say. COVID, like I said, we're still in a pandemic, right? Like again, we have an abundance of riches here in the United States, right? Because we funded a lot of the vaccine research, right? So we were able to prepay for a lot of the vaccines. Like we got to get, like, even now we're giving away vaccine doses.
It is kind of unfair though. It is kind of fair. We prepaid for it, but then we also prioritized it. So those other places,
I mean, if I pay for it, I mean,
that makes sense, but we're more safe here. Places that don't have the resources, once they break out,
but that's life though. That's America gets everything first, and the abundance of it first. That's just part of being the rich person. America's the rich person.
It is. It is. Yeah, we've been
complaining about rich people getting in first all for our whole life. So what's the difference now? It's just part of life.
That's how.
Well, the issue as well is that they made it where how they still have the generic version. They made it where those other countries couldn't come out with the generic version. There's still the patent things. So only the people that are allowed to make it still the ones that are allowed to make it. And they had to wait, those things, they're like, well, we got to get it to America first if we're going to get it to you. If it's a pandemic, they should have cut all those restrictions out. That's like another conspiracy that people go with, is the speed of the vaccine. I was like, these people didn't cut any corners. They just cut all the red tape to be able to get it done.
Yeah, I think, especially when we talk about this, because the speed, that's another question. Like I said, like most of my questions are so focused on the vaccine, like Gino said, like they totally have like disregarded what the virus and all the problems it is. But what typically happens in a typical normal setting is you have a disease, it affects, like I said, it affects a few people. And they're like, oh, you know what? This disease is affecting a few people. Maybe let's do some research on it. We need someone to pay for it. And we need enough bodies who have said disease to do a good study. So everything that happened for COVID happened in such a way that you had the disease, it spread fast, it didn't kill fast. You had governments shut down, countries shut down. So then you had governments and countries say, I will give you money to do research. You had people who like couldn't wait to get outside there, said like, sign me up for that research, because that typically don't happen, right? So you have people who quickly sign up for research, which usually doesn't occur. So then you have all these people who typically don't sign up for research. So then we got all of our numbers back as quick as we can. And because we had, you know, the UK, the United States, all of the other big money countries putting money into it, all of a sudden you're able to develop it at a much quicker rate. So everything like just kind of like happened, right, for us to get the vaccine, quote unquote, quickly in that regard. But like it typically, it doesn't happen that way unless all of those kind of factors kind of run into play. So when you hear people say it happened fast, it's because one, they don't know actually how vaccine production actually works. Because if they knew exactly how it works and they realized every step that had to occur, they'd be like, oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It wasn't that corners are cut. They got all the bureaucracy out the way to get it, you know what I'm saying, to streamline it in a sense.
So we need to check these conspiracy people's credibilities.
Right. But it's you gotta understand typically, right? Especially when you the folks who are like the biggest champion for the anti-vax, especially the anti-COVID vaccine related standpoint, a lot of times their back end, right, you know, depends on them and us really not relying on vaccine, right? Maybe they have supplements, maybe they have nutritional things. A lot of maybe they do speaking on it. Like a lot of their economic, foundation is dependent upon them being the one to say, oh, I don't know about that. Like that's the government's slick way of injecting a message. I don't know what message it would be, but like that's the government's slick way of injecting said message to all the Black folks, right? Like because that's always, at least the community that I take care of is usually Black, right? So like that's always what I hear. They seem like that's the way, and I tell them, no, if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna put it in your water. I'm gonna put it in your food. Like, again, I say that like facetiously, but like again, if I really wanted to affect the Black community, I'm not going through vaccines. It don't make no sense. That would be the most. That'd be stupid.
Guy, in their parents' basement, not paying rent, just wanted to, just bored, just wanted to put something out there.
Yeah, no. A lot of these people are very coordinated, and very rich, right? And their stance, right? Like they highly benefit off us, not taking vaccines, and like they highly benefit off of it. For that aspect of the supplements and the Dr. Sebis of the world, like that's their thing.
I was just about to say, I know you ain't gonna let my dog Dr. Sebi get a shot of the.
Well, Dr. Sebi not even a real doctor, right? Like,
Dr.
so we got to start
Dr.
there.
Dr. Sebi caught a stray. Dr.
Sebi not a. So we gotta like start off letting him know that he's not a real doctor, right? So
Isn't
people,
Dr. Sebi dead?
Yeah, he caught a stray.
He died. Yeah.
The natural supplements didn't help him, right? And again, that's what the problem with the Dr. Sebi, right? Dr. Sebi has a lot of truth, right? There's a lot of truth in natural, remedies, right, to help us, right? But if you got COVID, ain't a natural remedy helping you, right? Like it may assist, but it ain't helping.
Sebi never spoke against COVID because COVID was around these here.
Oh yeah, he was out of here. He spoke against AIDS.
He spoke against AIDS and a couple other stuff, hypertension, that CMOS.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Which may and that's where that natural, because we have naturopathic physicians. Like we have physicians who specifically focus on the natural remedies and treatments to treat ailments such as hypertension, such as cholesterol, such as all the, like we have doctors who do that. So like when you have Dr. Sebi kind of take a part of what is true, but then add a lot of bullshit, right? Like you have people who run with it, right? Like and that's really the fortunate name of the game, right? Because Dr. Sebi makes it seem like you can't have any natural supplements, and that's just incorrect, right? There's a lot of great like I have some patients like they don't like taking the pharmacy's medication for blood pressure, right? And I say, well, you could take CoQ10, you could take all these other, there's a lot of natural supplements that do things well. But guess what? If you get something like COVID, ain't a natural supplement in the world helping you, right? And that's all we're saying. like I'm not saying you can't get your CMOS for your blood pressure. I'm just saying that CMOS not helping you for COVID.
Right. It makes no sense, especially if you say that it's not a natural disease, it's lab made. Why would you think something natural would cure it?
You know, I asked that.
You see, it makes no sense.
You're using too much goddamn logic, Juno. That's what you're doing.
I'm just saying. If it's lab created, you need something in the lab to cure it. But hey, I'm just a guy that's on this podcast every week. What do I know?
They haven't come up with a myth for that one yet. You did just crush a bunch of like that. If it's man-made, it is going to take man-made thing to fix it. That is true. How? I didn't even think about it like that. But like you said, it's gonna if we end up having, let's say, the flu thing that spreads on, we might end up in either hospitals being packed out or another thing going on. So I can see another nurse and doctor bag drop about to happen. You know, you might want to pack your bags to Dubai, wherever else. But
again, I think I'm joking. Like check what them rates that they giving some of these nurses to go to India.
Right after we get off this podcast, I'm gonna go look at the numbers and
look at the rate. You might get that 25. You might be able to pull a little baby.
See if we can go do 3 days over there.
Right. I mean, they are looking. And that's one of the things, like especially like what COVID has done, is I had a lot of nurse practitioners, friends and colleagues who like went back to doing just the regular nursing, right? Because it didn't make any sense financially to just do the nurse practitioner stuff when they're cashing out, right? Just being a nurse, right? Like it's. And again, in some places in the country, the numbers are still bad. Don't get it twisted. Like some places in this country, we still ain't doing a very good job. Again, there's always going to be a spot financially, for our traveling nurses.
If you didn't capitalize on it, I know a couple of nurses who didn't, that wanted to wait till summertime. They didn't factor in the American appetite to open back up. They didn't hop on the opportunity. The bread that was given during COVID to nurses and medical staff is a game changer. If you didn't hop on that opportunity, then I guess you just have to cross your finger that we get another outbreak or something else, because it might be once in a lifetime.
Right. So
pandemics don't happen. Like, I think that's
they don't happen.
Pandemics don't happen. Like, we're living in like this ain't normal. Like
exactly.
We don't normally live in pandemic, so
man, nurses are dropping houses, paying off houses. If you did not hop on this,
they supposed to.
If you were a nurse before COVID and had student loans, and this pandemic happened, and you didn't capitalize, and you still have student loans, they should not give you that $50,000 everybody for. I'm gonna have to fight against that for the ones that didn't take the opportunity to get this bag. Listen, when they was giving this bag out, that was loan repayment.
Yeah, we had nurses. Like, we're in South Florida.
Nurse reparation.
I'm in South Florida. We had nurses who like it's not like they had to leave the state. They just went from Wellington to like Miami. Fort Lauderdale to Miami and was cashing out.
Like, there was so much money thrown at it. I've had, like I said, I have siblings that do nursing. They wanted to wait until like summertime for school to let out. I was like, look like things are letting out, and the home prices are also not dropping. So you don't really shot yourself in the foot. So it looking like the home prices might stay. This might be the new normal, where it's only shooting up, and you done missed the opportunity to get the bag. You know what I'm saying? She might have to schedule a trip to Dubai, wherever else. You know what I'm saying? The COVID just picking up. It's just dropping its album in Dubai. It's already did the world tour in the US. It's dropping its album in Dubai. Who knows where it's gonna go next? But you might have to take it on the road to get the checks over there. What happens if they end up going to like Dubai? Who pays for that? Is that like Doctors Without Borders? Is that like governments? How's that gonna work?
Well, I think Dubai themselves could pay for it.
The country's gonna have to pay for it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Dubai got it.
Usually the company that that front all that.
Right, the company that gets the contract wherever they're needed is gonna.
If you've seen the videos of like Dubai, like it is bad. There's people like they're waiting outside the hospital. It's so packed. They're running out of oxygen. This, that, and the third. It's getting crazy. People just waiting. They're dying.
And just to clarify for the podcast, we're not slandering Dubai. It's actually India, right? India is
India. Yeah. Why you got me saying Dubai? Yeah.
Oh God.
India, yeah, India.
I don't want a person like Dubai. Like, what you mean? Like, no, it's India.
It's India. Sorry. But, yeah.
So Barry, do they still have a whole COVID wing at your hospital, or has it decreased dramatically?
Yeah, very good question. So now we do have kind of a section, but now what happens is in the ICU, we just kind of plaster like, all right, this is the ICU COVID side. So you can go from like regular room, COVID, regular room, COVID, whereas before it was completely shut. Now we do have the medical floor that has its own separate wing, but in the ICU we've kind of like commingled the two.
Oh,
right.
Yeah,
right. And again, just so we're aware, like we're talking about how bad COVID is. The United States is still number one in cases, still number one in deaths, right? So even how bad it's kicking India's butt, like that's how bad the United States was. Right, like still number one in cases, still number one in deaths. By at least I'm looking now, 7 million more cases. And mind you, India got like a billion change.
We got a third of them out, and we got that much more than them. Ridiculous.
See, and even now, they're not even giving. I was watching CNN earlier. They're not even really giving the day-to-day facts of the cases and deaths. They're just averaging it for 14 days. I'm like, this is just statistics at work to make people feel comfortable instead of saying,
telling the truth.
800 people dying a day. There's 800 people dying a day still. Instead, we're just going to say there's 540 people that average deaths a day for the past 14 days. I'm like, what the hell is going on?
That's what I'm telling you.
Daily reports anymore.
That's an issue in America right now. Like, it's too much out of convenience. I could understand the politicians doing it, but like I said, I hated that I see even medicals doing it. The mask mandate, the fact that we're like, all right, they're over it. What do you want us to do? I just don't understand that aspect, that they're over it. They're over it. You know what I'm saying?
And remember, even pre-COVID, those same medicals weren't taking flu shot either. Right. Yeah. Like, so it's not as if COVID is this like, oh, nah, I don't know what that government talking. They were the same ones walking around the hospital, because before COVID, if you didn't take your flu shot, you had to wear a mask. So that's how we knew you didn't get the flu shot.
They were wearing masks in the hospital.
So they were wearing masks.
They were pro-mask then. They were pro-mask then. Now as soon as they got to wear masks, I'm off that.
Right. Right. So the same people who were, I'm not getting the vaccine. I don't know where now mind you, like we've had a flu vaccine for like decades, right? Yeah. They weren't taking the flu vaccine. So again, those same people, again, you'll be talking to your blue if you think those same people are going to take the COVID, right? Like, again, that's why I just say natural. Because again, when I got a friend now, right? Every time I see him on Facebook, right? He's at a bar. He's at this. He's at that. He's about to go travel. Oh man, I got COVID, man. I don't even know. Like, what you mean you don't know how? I'm looking at your Facebook. What you mean you don't know how? That's the rationale. He was so confused on the fact that he had COVID. Like he's like, no, should I get retested? I'm like, for what? Like, you got COVID. like I don't know what to do here. Like, so when you have that, what can you do? Like, that's some of our rationale across the country. Again, you're bar hopping. I'm seeing you bar hopping, right? Because remember before, when we would post like social pictures, people would be like, "Oh, pre-COVID," like they let you know, "Hey, pre-COVID, this ain't a recent thing," like so you don't try to get on them. Now it's like, nah, we was out yesterday. We partying today. We gonna let you know we partying today, right? We don't even need to say pre-COVID. This happened yesterday, right? But now you go to travel because that country is like, "Oh, you got COVID? Don't come here." Right. And then now you're looking sick in the face and you have no clue how you would have gotten COVID. And I'm like, fam, just look at your social media feed. Like, that's how you got it.
Yeah, I guess it's because so many people are asymptomatic with COVID.
Yeah.
So much more people are asymptomatic. Yes. Like nobody really knows if they have COVID anyway now, because no one's going to get tested.
Nope.
And they're not feeling no effects from it. So
that's the thing. And
you see all these people.
Oof, that's the thing.
And when you see all these people that are asymptomatic with COVID, you start to look at it like, damn, if I get it, I might just be like that person. So I'm not even really worried about it. So yeah, this COVID thing is gonna be just like the flu. and we're gonna have to take this vaccine.
Oh,
every
100%.
year.
We said this like we might have said, I can't remember if we said that on the last pod. Like I don't know because I don't know about the vaccine at the time. But like I said this before, I'm
Yeah,
like,
the vaccine
yeah,
was out.
I said before, like, oh, we're gonna be taking this vaccine on a year basis. Like even though they haven't said it, like there's no rationale that I can believe that I'm not gonna have to take a COVID vaccine every year or every 2 years. I don't know what the rate or time frame is gonna be. There's no rationale that I can see why I wouldn't have to take it. And I'll be first in line. I'll be first in line whenever they time.
Here's the reason
oh, we
why.
taking it again? Let me go.
Here's the reason why the rationale is you're not factoring in the fact that these politicians are worried about saving face. The way you just said it, that's rational. You're not going to factor in that they don't want to make people uncomfortable. They're going to straddle the line, and of course, it's going to take more time. And we've politicized everything already as it is. You got people, you know what I'm saying? You got people who've had COVID, like Rand Paul, sitting up speaking against COVID. You know what I'm saying? So it's part of American politics at this point. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
For the same reason we can't get shit done about cigarette smoking and shit like that. It's here to stay.
As I smoke from my vape pen.
Oh, you know, the vape is a very interesting industry as well too. You know, especially, you know, what you see, especially seeing a lot of the kind of negative feedback from the vaping industry, especially because the government really didn't know how to tax it correctly, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like as you see, they get the vape industry under control, especially from a taxation standpoint. Like, and you know, they clear up their messaging because again, obviously, you can't be selling to kids, right? Like, so you got to clean that up. Like this ain't the rest of the world. Rest of the world, you can sell to kids. In this country, you can't sell to kids. So once they clean that messaging up, you'll see that kind of.
Well, they already did it where they took out all the flavors in certain states. Yeah, certain states. You know, Florida's still the Wild West. We still got freedom down here. You know, sell the kids if you got to in Florida. Anything for a buck down here. I'm just surprised they didn't legalize marijuana in Florida yet, bro. DeSantis really, you know what I'm saying? He's really
he's waiting for kind of the federal okay.
As we can see, right? Republican states are doing whatever they want. They're rolling back Roe versus Wade. We doing what we want. If you're in a Republican state, there's no waiting for federal anymore. We might bring back slavery next week. You know what I'm saying? Because we feel like it. That's how we roll in the Republican states now. We throw one for one person. Texas has just been wilding. Texas just made it today where regular residents can carry a gun on them with no permit. You know what I'm saying? So it's what I'm saying. They do every time there's one thing, one person does nothing to set one thing back. You know, they close voter right restrictions, but meanwhile they might throw another thing. So they throw one. When they throw one from one side for everybody, they make sure they lean even more Republican on the other side. It's kind of wild. I don't know if we have anything else during COVID. Is there anything else you wanted to cover as far as we did that?
No. I think it's, you know, I think what you're going to see, what I hope, right, is people are starting saying, man, what are the long-term effects of COVID, right? Because you're going to have a lot of asymptomatic people, right, who may then develop symptoms at a later time frame. You know, and really expect to see, you know, one of the common questions now is, oh, have you ever been diagnosed with COVID? Have you ever been vaccinated? Like, expect that to be a common question from here on.
And health physicals and all that going forward.
Yeah, health physicals and all those things there. And again, that's what I said. I'm hoping, right? Gino mentioned it before. I'm just hoping like people start respecting, like if you don't respect the fact that America had, I'm just looking now, 33 million cases of COVID, right? In a year and a half, right? 33 million cases, almost 600,000 people died. If you don't respect COVID, then right, like you shouldn't be asking me about the long-term effects of the vaccine. Right? It don't make no sense.
Wait till they find out their premiums going up because they're not vaccinated for COVID. They're gonna say this is socialism. When they find out their premiums going up. Or wait till you find out you don't have COVID and now it's a pre-existing condition and we still got to jack the premiums because in America the premiums only go one way regardless.
They're gonna find a reason to raise the premiums.
Yeah, we're gonna raise it regardless. You had COVID, you're raising the premium. You didn't get the vaccine, we're raising the premium. It's
I
coming.
mean, I have patients who, before to get on oxygen, the diagnosis you need was either congestive heart failure or long-standing COPD. Or pulmonary fibrosis. Right now, because of COVID is another reason why you can qualify for long-term care oxygen. Right, so it's being inserted. So again, you're going to start seeing disability claims for COVID. Right, you're going to start seeing checks happen because they've had COVID. Like this is gonna it's here. Like, yeah, that's why I laugh when people are like, oh, what about the long-term effects of the vaccine? Fam, this thing is like a year and a half old. Like, I don't know what the long-term effects of COVID yet. Right? Like give me some time. Give me some time to tell me what the long-term effects of COVID, right? And then we can discuss what are the long-term effects of the COVID vaccine.
I'm gonna need to know who's the biggest oxygen manufacturer in America, because that's a stock I'm actually into. You already know once they're gonna sign that green light. Once they get that once it gets a red light throughout insurance companies. Mm-hmm. Do you have any predictions as far? I know you already said the flu thing, but as far as COVID, so like I feel like my prediction for COVID, they're gonna end up saying that some people are more susceptible, not just you know how they have if you had pre-existing condition. I feel that it might be blood type.
You know, we looked at that in the beginning when kind of everyone to see if there was any one relation from a blood type standpoint, and we didn't see any like credible evidence kind of leaning one way or the other. Mm-hmm. You know, we looked at whether being on certain medications at the time. I think we were looking at lisinopril, which is a blood pressure medication, whether that led either to protection or also more incidents. We didn't really see anything kind of blow from there. What we've noted, at least from a risk factor standpoint, if you have lung disease, you're definitely at risk. If you're obese, you're definitely at risk. If you're a smoker, you're definitely at risk. Those are some of like the ones that we can at least kind of put together.
So 60% of Americans, so 60% of overweight is automatically at risk, which is crazy. Right. And that's not to mention if they have combos, every other thing.
Definitely.
Yeah, they hiking up the insurance rates. So who's gonna cover?
It's definitely happened. That's already happened. Like, not definitely happened. That's already happened. Especially when, at least right now, right, a lot of the hospital facilities, right, still get paid, right, whether you have insurance or not, if we're taking care of you because of COVID, right. So once you start seeing that like kind of dissipate, right, and once this country opens back up again, right, and people are frolicking, like I suspect like we should do a pod in January, right, because by January you'll have all these people open up, you'll have Thanksgiving, you'll have Christmas, you'll have people traveling in, acting like it's normal, and then I fully suspect the numbers will go right back up again. Especially if people not vaccinating the way they should. But fortunately, even though a lot of people talk like they're not getting vaccinated, a lot of people are out here getting vaccinated.
I heard it's up to like 39%.
Yeah, we're about 39%. Yeah, 39% of the country. So they talking big and they're running and getting vaccinated. So that's why whenever I hear like this ejection, I'm like, fam, like you got people who can't wait to get vaccinated. Right, like the 12 to 15 year olds.
Right, like the COVID lines are longer than the testing lines now. So
100%.
In New York, at least.
100%. Like people are talking big, but they're running and getting back because one, again, I don't blame them. They want to go out, right? They want to go club, they want to party, right? But they want to do it safely, right? So they know, like, yeah, the flu may not take me out, but like I know this COVID could. So let me just get this boom boom quick double shot real quick, or quick single shot, and then keep it moving.
Have you guys already run into people that in stores, because I have recently, that are fully vaccinated and they refuse to wear their mask inside the store, and the first thing they scream is, "I'm fully vaccinated, I don't have to wear a mask because the government said so"? Have you guys run into that?
No, I haven't run into, like, I'm seeing people definitely walk around much more casually, freely, right? And I'm just, like I said, again, my mind is like, man, I wonder if you got vaccinated. Like, I don't know if you're like the type who would have gotten vaccinated. So I'm having to look at them different, right? They're walking pretty confident as if they got vaccinated, right? Like they're walking around here like they got the double shot of the single, but I don't know. I went to Clematis the other day. Nobody wearing masks out there. Like, ooh, I said, okay, y'all brave. I said, choop. Let me go ready.
Yeah, we in Florida, so we if we go to a day party, I guarantee only less than 6% of the people have masks on, and it's fucking packed. And there's no more capacity limits in Florida.
We just fill it up like this is freedom land.
I watch it, man. I'm watching them.
And New York is about to open up, I think, July 1st completely. They're gonna lift all restrictions, so I'm pretty sure the numbers are going to shoot back up and we're going to be out here a little longer. So I'm not even worried about it.
Especially when you figure once we open up, we're going to open up for summer. We're going to be traveling during the summer, then Thanksgiving, then Christmas. And then you're going to see, like I said, because what we're hoping is that enough folks get vaccinated so that that hill doesn't climb as high as it did when it was like, we were getting 200,000 cases a day. Right, we're hoping that the vaccines kind of, which they will, especially if you're vaccinated, will slow those numbers down.
Okay. Yeah, I got any more of the COVID related questions for Dr. Berry?
Nope.
Nothing on COVID. I don't think we have anything else on.
No, just protect yourself, right? If you're team vax, like I said, you're looking good right now. If you're a team no vax, right, just keep wear your mask, right? Wear your mask, social distance.
I'm not team no vax. I'm just. As soon as it becomes inconvenient, I'll go get it. I'm just letting it ride out, letting the social experiment play itself out. But I'm not anti-vax. My parents actually just got theirs. I'm glad they got it, and I'm saying, as soon as I get around to it, that's all it is. It's a matter of convenience. I'm not anti-vax, pro-vax. I'm just letting it play out. I think 170. How many shots again? 170 million or 70 million? Something like that.
Yeah, no. From those who've been. Fully vaccinated, we got like 130, right? And like at least one vaccine is about 160 million.
Yeah.
So again, so when people like, like you said, so when people be like, I'm just gonna let the first wave, fam, how big do you want the wave to be, right? Like how big is this wave got to be before you be like, all right, let me stop playing, right? Because if you mess around and catch COVID, right? Especially you come to see me, I'm be like, oh, did you get vaccinated? Right? And you ain't get vaccinated. I said, I'm gonna ask you why. I was like, well, you're here now, right? So good luck. Right? good luck. And you're gonna be looking crazy. You stuck in the hospital, right?
If you catch COVID now and you have to go to the hospital, you will feel fucking ridiculous.
Oh, you're gonna feel ridiculous because we're looking at you. Yeah. We're looking. Trust me, we look at you like, yeah, how do you get COVID? Right? Like, we're asking. Right.
Imagine they start roasting in the ER. This motherfucker got COVID, y'all. This man walking on this COVID. He dick sick. As start roasting you. Yeah, so, I don't think.
At the moment, I'm pro mask. I'm not gonna get vaccinated until later in the year.
You're gonna. Yes.
After I drop a seed or something,
right? And that's why I tell people because they feel like Moderna and Pfizer them are cutting me a check. Fam, I'm not telling you to go get vaccinated. I'm just telling you to social distance, wear your mask. Like it would be a benefit if you got vaccinated, but as long as you do that, like we're good. Like I'm 100% happy you wear your mask, you social distance. Especially again, look, and the flu is the best example. Like fam, we're gonna get the flu out of here this year. Right, we're getting the flu the fuck up. I'm sorry, we should be cursing on this podcast. Yeah. Right, we're getting the flu.
We curse on this podcast.
Okay.
We're in Florida on top of that.
Let it fly.
Don't trample on our freedom.
We got that explicit content sticker on the logo.
Maybe Juneau in New York, but in Florida, we got anything good.
No, I tell people like, I'm not saying you definitely should get a vaccine. It'll definitely help. We know the side effect. We know what the risk profile is there. But as long as you're doing what you need to do, social distance, wear your mask, you're good in my book, right? Because you're doing just as much of a job protecting yourself as those who are like frolicking, like and acting as if nothing, like because at least you're respecting the COVID. All of what you guys do is respect the COVID. That's all I'm asking, right? Just respect the COVID.
I want to know how much the episode title, respect the COVID.
I want to know how much of $1 billion industry things stem from the mask industry this year, bro. From people doing custom masks.
So 3M, right? You know, me with stocks. 3M, they've had record quarters. right? Because they're the like if at least again, this is why this
they're the
country
one
so
doing the legit
right?
mask.
Right,
They're doing the real deal.
Exactly, they're doing the real deal. N95s and
N95.
like they have been printing money since COVID. 3M, so triple M on the stock for any stock partner watching. But you see a lot of our masks that we get here now, not even made in this country, but you know how this country works.
Yeah, you know we got to check that out. But China gonna eat regardless. You know, yes. China gonna eat regardless.
So if you had stock in 3M, like you are very well taken care of right now. I mean, they have because I've been watching them, record profits, and they ain't going nowhere. You couldn't find a mask for like 4 months on Amazon and them.
Today over here, school ended today. This was this kid's full school year. Today was the last day of school. So these kids literally went a whole year that weren't inside school. Like my son, he did all virtual all year, which is kind of crazy. Some people did a little bit longer because they like in New York, they took them out even earlier.
Mm-hmm. Well, New York, this coming up school year, there's going to be no virtual classes. Everyone's going back to school.
Oh yeah, they're not having it because it's been over a year and some change. They haven't been in classes. My son don't mind. My daughters hadn't went to school this year, so they liked it. But my kids didn't. My boys didn't mind. You know, I was like, hey, imagine if you were that lucky when we were younger, bro. You just get to check in, chill. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So
no, we're obviously living in a different age, right, where we have the ability to do so. And again, if you have the opportunity and especially if you can keep your kids still enough and disciplined enough to kind of learn at home. Right. You know, again, remember going to school, like going to these places, right, is a business decision, right, for a lot of these like schools, right? Like they get funding, right, from the amount of students who are enrolled in their schools, right? So they want the bodies there too. So whether you're there physically, right, or you're there virtually, like it's still getting counted as a check, right? And now they don't even have to account for you for food, right? So there's some positives. If I was running school like a business, there's some positives for the virtual schooling.
That's true. I think that's it on COVID. Y'all ready to hit other topics or anything? Or
I'm ready.
We good. Let's go. What we gonna jump into first? Hip hop.
Let's lean into hip hop. This is kind of I guess I could start with that one. Funk Flex. I guess we can start. Yeah, Funk Flex versus Charlamagne the God in a sense. You know, Funk Flex. Juno, like I said, he's becoming the ultimate hip hop villain. I like it because hip hop needs one. He's gone after Jay-Z. He's gone after Dame Dash. He's gone after
Tupac.
He's gone after
Grave.
Drake.
Goes after Tupac.
He goes
in the grave.
He's going after Drake. He takes all comers. The old man takes all comers.
And the gunners.
And the gunners. All comers and the gunners. He don't discriminate. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So this week, Charlamagne, after going at it with Kwame Brown.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Kwame, is trying to call Charlamagne a rapist and everything else.
Hey, you got a grapist. Grapist.
Rapist, I guess. Whatever. He's called him the R word.
Alleged.
Well, yeah, he wasn't saying alleged. Yeah, he wasn't saying alleged then. So Charlamagne sends that cease and desist, as he should. This is your pre-warning, boy. Keep going. Don't want to go this path. So he had to kind of walk it back. But, Funk Flexing the option. Funk Flex, go ahead and say, tune in tonight. We're going to expose this guy, this, that, and the third. He plays audio of the
victim's mother.
Victim's mom saying that her son, her daughter got raped by Charlamagne, this, that, and the third.
Grape. Stop using the R word. This is going on YouTube, and every time they hear the R word.
Is that true?
Yes, bro. There's certain words you can't use on YouTube.
Okay, I'll say sexual assault. You say that
Sounds
right?
better.
Okay.
Yes.
So either way, you see Kevin Hunter, Wendy Williams' husband, coming out saying that he's doing that, set the whole thing up. He was trying to take Charlamagne out of the game. He's like, he felt like he's doing that, walked him into the game. So he felt it was a responsibility to try to take him out. A real crazy thing. My whole thing is, how good of a mastermind, how good was Charlamagne? Because this was while he was a kid. Like
he wasn't a kid. It was 17 years ago, and he's like 39 now. So about 24, 25 years old. Not
a radio personality. I'm saying, how good would he have been with the law for him to escape those charges? Like he was some kind of mastermind, or he didn't have the money. How did this happened where they end up not charging him or anything other than providing alcohol at his party to his guests, and one of them was a minor. For them to act like this is a mastermind, like he got away with something slick. This was before he was rich, before he was a personality. This is what I don't understand. Like the simple logics just aren't there.
But the thing about this, it comes up every three years.
I was gonna say, yeah, they've
like clockwork, bro. Every 3 years.
It's like they forget.
But it's not only that it comes up, they act like they caught him. They didn't catch him. This was his own saying off his podcast that they're trying to use against him. You didn't get aha, got you moment. He stated what happened when he was younger on his podcast. And then people, every time he tries to come up, people usually, oh, we got him. We're going to try to take him out. But it does pigeonhole Charlemagne because every time he tries to pivot to, his dream was to be like a night show host, you know what I'm saying? Like the Arsenio Hall of his time. But each time he starts to, that's why he started cleaning up his act. This, that, and the third. Remember, Charlie used to sniff chairs. He used to be a wild boy.
Right. In the early 2000s where it was allowed, it was accepted.
Right.
But either way, each time he tries to elevate and get out of that space, they bring that up and the big backers fall back. Of course, iHeart and Clear Channel ain't going nowhere, but the new guys say last time he had an HBO deal or a Showtime deal, they jumped out. They're like, we got to sip up off this or this guy. As you can see, he's got book deals since then. He's getting bigger. Each time he's trying to get off, he's even more quiet now, more PC. Each time he tries getting out this position, these haters, they want to throw it back at him. This go around, though, even though Funk Flex was looking for opportunity, it wasn't Funk. I could say Charlemagne kind of served this up to himself because he did the commentary on Kwame Brown. And Kwame Brown's the one that brought it up. That's why sometimes they say, let a sleeping dog sleep or something like that?
Yeah, a sleeping dog lie.
Let a sleeping dog lie. That's why sometimes if you're bigger than someone, just let them go because they're willing to go all the way low. They don't need truth to be there. They'll throw anything at you. And even though he didn't say nothing I don't
think he said anything bad about Kwame, but I could see where you could get offended by
he said that
what he said. But he was trying to protect him in a way.
Yeah, he was warning, he was protecting us, not protecting him. He was like, y'all leave that boy alone. His dad is a killer, his brother's a killer, his other brother's a killer. He's from Marshall Town. Y'all go ahead and leave that boy alone. Ain't no telling. And oddly enough, Kwame said he didn't know about that. His mom never told him. So it's a hard way to find out. But he's been on a spree. It's
kind of hard to believe that you didn't know
exactly
that about your father and your siblings. It's kind of hard to believe.
Right.
Listen,
that's
you're a 40-year-old man.
This dude dressed like he's still in 1990. He's dressed like he's still in 1997, bro. Like I might believe it. For other people, I don't believe it. But him, he looked like he might have just got out of jail yesterday, bro. I don't know how much internet he's getting down there in that part of town.
Well, they say if for these athletes, you leave the league at the same age that you came in mentally. So if you go in at 18 and you have a 10-year stint in the league, when you leave, you're still 18, but you're physically 28 or however old.
Okay, that makes sense.
But that's what they do say about athletes. They don't change. Like you have a Dwight Howard that they say still acts like a child because you come into the NBA early, there's no real growing because to become an adult, you have to start paying bills, going through, there's all these diversity. But when you get $40 million, there's no reason for you to grow up.
No, you're right. I didn't think about
What's the point of me becoming an adult if I'm $40 million in the game? I don't have to grow up.
Everything goes your way. Yeah,
that's true. So you got it with that. He sends Kwame to cease and desist. You got the fact that Funk Flex laid into him, try to say you're a nasty dude, this, that, and there. Even though knowing that this has been exonerated, or knowing that he's been found not guilty or anything like that, or cases were dropped. So it just made it a bad week for Charlemagne. And then fast forward, where Charlemagne just, he gives himself donkey in the day. He apologizes to Kwame, which I respected. But like I said, Kwame is over here saying, should he even go to the Breakfast Club? He's trying to cancel the network. This is the guy that had 20 years of being poked and prodded for being sorry or this, that, and the third. and he's riding his 15 minutes of fame.
This is the thing. Like he goes on YouTube Live every 30 minutes now.
Yeah.
Kwame Brown. Bro, I'm like every hour on the hour he clicks up the live and starts talking. I'm like, how you gonna say should you go to the Breakfast Club? Were you invited?
I mean, I think
someone send you an invitation.
My only issue with him is that people calling him based on his skill set. They're saying that you suck on your skill set. It didn't have to be about all this. This is a black man pulling his black card. It didn't have to be I call you a wash or you're a scrub because of your skill set, because what you did in the league. You can be like, how am I a scrub? I stay this much year, I've got this much back. But for you to say I'm tearing down black man, they call white people scrubs. For him to try to play the Black Lives Matter, he did the ultimate way of making it a populist thing, where everyone he went against, you see people online, oh yeah, you serving the mama's cooking. So everyone he went against with that could have critiqued them, somehow he was right.
But athletically, do we even call Tebow a bust?
What do you mean?
Have you ever have the media ever?
People online are mad at Tebow.
I've heard them call him a fraud.
They say they said Tebow's a garbage quarterback. They're saying that the fact that he's even coming back is an issue. So it's the same. Imagine Tebow talking about, oh, y'all just hating on a white boy. Y'all don't want to see a white guy win. You know what I'm saying? It's wild. It'll sound wild. That's the only issue I have with Kwame. Sure, you got your mom on the golf court. That's all true. But that has nothing to do with their criticizing. They don't want to criticize you because you didn't do right by your money. They're criticizing you because you got picked by Jordan, played along Kobe, and they felt like you had stellar representation of people around you, and you didn't live out to be what you could have been. It happens.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's all the thing. But, I guess after 20 years of hearing it, he went off. I understand going off on one person, going on the show and making your case, but he's so toxic, I don't think no one's going to mess with him. That's legit media.
But I don't think like a Matt Barnes, have the credibility to criticize him, or
Matt Barnes, champion Matt Barnes. Why would it not?
Or Steven Jackson.
Just because you're a champion don't mean you can criticize.
He was part of the team, but he wasn't no MVP.
You don't have to be
MVP. He was.
Nate, with that statement, do you think Matt Barnes can criticize the Charles Barkley or Allen Iverson?
If on something that's credible, there's no not. If it wasn't, he was saying he was a bust
on championships. Championships, could Matt Barnes call Charles Barkley or Allen Iverson a trash player because they don't have a championship like? But
that wasn't why he was saying they don't have a championship. He was just saying, how he.
But you brought in championships.
I was saying he was bringing that. He said he didn't fulfill what he was doing. It was on championships. He could say y'all don't have.
The guy on the bench got championships too,
Huh?
The guys on the bench got championships too. So do they have the credibility to talk to somebody who, Allen Iverson or Kwame Brown?
Are you saying Matt Barnes' career wasn't as good as Kwame Brown's?
I don't think he.
I don't know. It depends on how long was Matt Barnes in the league.
Right.
Because I don't think we ever really
Kwame Brown was in the league for 10 years.
How long?
10 years.
And I think especially with issue with Kwame Brown is that his expectation was definitely higher than Matt Barnes too. So Kwame Brown came in with a much higher expectation. Right. So even if he hit the level of Matt Barnes, people are gonna be like, "Oh, you washed up, like you Matt Barnes level." Right?
Matt Barnes played 14 seasons.
Well, we never thought about Matt Barnes beside him. His wife or girlfriend got stolen by Derek Fisher.
That's not true. That's not true.
That's the only thing he's known for. Like, and him, like,
he tried to pump fake Kobe.
Trying to start fight. That's it.
Trying to pump fake Kobe. He's
not because he makes some, nice plays or nothing like that, or he had a good night, or he scored, or did some, good.
I'm not gonna act like Matt Barnes is
an average player.
He's not.
Average is not a trash player though. I got this.
Kwame Brown was an average player of his time.
Average player too. Yeah, exactly. I think Kwame was.
But he was still
considered you gotta remember when Kwame came in. You talking about Duncan? You talking about Shaq? You talking about he came in during the time when centers was like the thing to be, and then he wasn't a good center. Like that, like you put Kwame Brown now, right? And he's a quality big, because there's not too many quality bigs. So I think he just came during the wrong time.
Yeah, I felt they've been insulting him online big time. Like there's that poster that said on December 20th, 2005, Kobe Bryant and Kwame Brown scored a combined 63 points. Kobe scored 62 points, Kwame scored 1. Come on, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Did they win the game? That's all that matters.
So he's been being disrespected, but my thing is, it's not to that level. People aren't disrespecting you because they don't like you to tear down the black guy. You're a butt of the joke. But, you know, I guess it showed. Imagine if every bum or every guy that they feel like now starts snapping like this. Remember, who was it? Jordan was the first draft pick, right? There's always someone that got picked that was a dud before the first guy. You know what I'm saying? Or imagine if all those guys start speaking. Having the same reaction.
It's time for him to speak. He hasn't said nothing in 20 years. So
right. He fed up. He tired.
And he went after
everybody in sports media. But for you, just Jamel Hill said he woke up and chose violence. He says she's calling him violent. He's going off on her. He's over here quoting Tommy Sotomayor and sent what's the other dude?
Oh, what happened to that guy? Is he still here? Is still around?
Tommy's still out here hating black women, but Kevin Samuel stole his bag. Kevin Samuel took his bag. You know, Kevin Samuel.
That's the name I ain't hear.
Kevin Samuel screamed it up a bit. He polished it a bit.
Bullshit, man.
I'm gonna take it.
The word is competition.
I'm telling you what Tommy says.
It's
Tommy says in the avenue of hating black women. He says in the realm of hating black women, Kevin Samuel stole his bag. That's what Tommy says.
Competitive out here.
So
that's definitely a name. Oh, I'm about to say that's a name I haven't heard in so long. I don't know about that guy.
He was getting deplatformed and canceled earlier. That's why you don't hear about back in the day.
Okay,
so Tommy's still out here, but he was over here saying shout out to those two because they went after Jamel Hill and all that. I was like, I feel that's a bad look even for Kevin Samuel for even being the same census as Tommy Sotomayor. So that's one. But Jamel Hill didn't even do anything. She was like, oh, this guy woke up this morning. He ain't having it. He didn't understand the gesture, the terms, the terminology. He just, you know, the guy barely even speaks proper.
Listen, you just keep the man name out your mouth if you don't want none of these stray bullets.
That's it.
What's the
walk
problem?
light. If you're gonna walk, as long as you walk light, you don't got no problem. You're not gonna hear from me.
I don't know, man. It's a catch-22 because I feel him. It's almost the same way when Russell Westbrook, when his wife went off, when they're complaining, saying he couldn't shoot.
Mm-hmm.
Who did she go off on? It wasn't Skip. It wasn't Skip Bayless. It's your boy. Fuck, man. Who am I thinking of? She went off basically saying that he couldn't shoot. Yeah, Stephen A. And it wasn't the fact that they were wrong, but she was like, she didn't like their pointing that picture of him because once a player gets cast in a certain light, you know what I'm saying, then people start, you know what I'm saying, then they start wondering if they want to pay the most for him. Mm-hmm. It kind of just carries over him the whole time. And as you can see going forward,
right, and that was one of Kwame's biggest thing. That was one of his biggest gripes was because you guys bashed me so much, y'all made me miss out on $60 million worth of NBA contracts. Because at one point he was averaging almost a double-double, and players that were averaging the same thing he was averaging were getting 8-year contracts for like $80 million. But due to his reputation, he was only offered 1 year for $7 million versus getting that long, big contract because his reputation was so bad. No team wanted to give him all the money that they were paying people that performed just like him. So he has reasons to be dogging all these people out because I took a lot of money out of his pocket.
He has reasons, like he could say further reasons, but to say it's for black man, it's a whole lot of fluff he's throwing in there. He's doing a whole lot of victim playing right now. You know what I'm saying? He has proper critique. So that's why I feel like I understand why he's going to say that now, but one, it's after the fact, and I'm just like, he just went after all the media outlets. So it's just crazy. He's talking wild. This, that, and third.
Y'all saying Mama's cooking wasn't good, and he don't appreciate that.
Yeah, it's a wild thing to see. He's definitely got the 15 minutes of fame, and he's loving it. He probably hoping they could steamroll this into another show. He said first he complained saying they don't want no smoke, bring him over to Up in Smoke. in person. They invite him, and now he turned his back on them. He's going off on, you can't win with this guy. You know what I'm saying? So it's one of those things. But either way, I know a lot of people will probably want to speak on it now. They probably just kept quiet. They don't want to say nothing because he's out of control. You know, he pulls no punches. You know what I'm saying? Unless you got a stellar background or anything like that, you don't get caught calling Kwame Brown's name. Yeah, pretty much. What else we have in hip hop? I guess this is somewhat as we started with Charlamagne. Charlamagne came out last week and kind of was speaking on how he pretty much ain't fucking with Joe Budden anymore. Saying like he kind of burnt that bridge when he was trying to make it seem like how Charlamagne don't know anything about ownership because you work for somebody, this, that, and the third. Charlotte was shocked. He's like, because he just got off the phone with me and was asking how to maneuver said deal, this, that, and the third. But he got in front of his audience and played a whole nother role. So he burnt that bridge. You know, Charlotte was still doing his victory lap, watching.
But they've been had an ongoing beef with each other.
Yeah.
Even though they'll continuously work with each other.
Yeah.
They would always still work with each other.
Yeah.
But there's always something in the background, like when they're not working together, that they had some type of competition between each other, which there shouldn't be no competition because Joe Budden wasn't even in media. Why are we comparing to someone that's on the number one radio
morning show, right?
Yeah,
exactly.
So it was never a competition, but Joe wanted to make it a competition. But Joe's personality and his morals, you can't really compete with anybody that's a good person if you're Joe Budden, because Joe Budden, everywhere he goes, he's a problem and he does fucked up shit.
Yeah, that's true.
To the people he's working with. So why even beef with that guy?
That's true. And while the difference is Charlamagne's putting so much people on, everything from 85 South to Bodega Boys. Like I'm saying, he has so much different people, Aquafina, so much different people that came his way.
Who has Joe Budden put on that he hasn't
ripped
destroyed their reputation after they started working with him?
Exactly.
So, Charlotte was doing his victory lap. And meanwhile, Joe Budden's still taking an L after we have fast forward to Joe Budden. He lost his sponsorship with
Cash App
after the DJ. What's her name again? The DJ in his show, the one that was co-hosting the show. The thing is,
the female DJ.
She accused him of sexual,
sexual misconduct. I guess.
Yeah, in a sense, making her feel uncomfortable at work. And he cut it out the show. I knew he messed up whenever his apology, he said that we messed up at this. When he put in, he didn't just say he messed up. He said we, like it's the network. I was like, oh man, we got.
Barry, you have a high authority position. Have you ever been scared at work where you was like, damn, did she take this the wrong way with a female person that you work with? Being a doctor?
Interesting. No, but I think, I could definitely see where you could be in that type of position. But like I've always kind of operated, in a sense where, I'm the side hugger. I'm the I consciously don't put myself in those type of situations, where that could even be misconstrued. But I could definitely see it. It's,
what about nurses hitting on you? How often does that happen?
It happens, right? It happens, but it's like
that's what I was telling Nate. And guys can't go run to HR and be like, "She's hitting on me," because you gonna look crazy. Like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah, you don't get up on my office. Yeah, so it's a bad look for him.
I didn't know he lost the Cash App because I saw someone tweeted it, but I didn't know it was to confirm that.
Yeah, he I think he ended up saying we're no longer being straddled by sponsors. So he tried to play it off, like make it seem like he's free now. He should work at Fox News the way my boy spins. So he's back. He got the other two guys with him again. Roy and Moy there.
They're back.
Yeah, he did the drop. Yes, yeah.
You gotta be kidding me, bro.
Oh, y'all thought y'all gonna hold Joe down
after that whole 3-hour podcast they had.
Oh no, not Roy and Maul. He got the other replacement guys came back.
Oh, I thought.
I'm about to say.
I thought you meant Roy and Maul came back. I was like, whoa.
Roy and Maul gonna sue the shit out of Joe Budden, though. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, man. I told this to Nate too, man. I said, like if you're spending all that time with them, if you're Rory and Mal, like the paper, you should have been made sure your paperwork is correct. Like you can't just assume. Like, because I remember I even let me see who because I even searched the trademark and I was like, oh, this all says it just says Joe Budden, right? Joe Budden podcast, Joe Budden. I'm like, oh, okay.
Composer Joe Budden,
right?
Producer Joe Budden, producer Joe Budden. You taking all the credit.
Executive.
You can't assume. You got to have these things in writing, man. It's just it just is what it is, man. And
that's that whole hip hop culture of, oh, that's my guy.
Yes.
We don't need this. We don't need paperwork. Yeah, right.
Yeah,
everywhere in life you need paperwork on something.
Everywhere. Like this is like we gonna be friends right after we handle this business right quick.
Exactly. My thing is it does leave like a permanent scar on him. He looks slimy in a sense like that.
Sure.
And I'm not.
So is he still doing the podcast? Is the podcast?
Yeah, he's still doing the podcast. So. You know, he's entertaining, so he's gonna still eat regardless. You know, at the end of the day, he showed him that much, but at least now it's how he wanted to be. He wants to be, you know what I'm saying? He wants to be the one chef in the kitchen now. He wants to put everyone else on salary. He don't want to bust down no deals when they come in. And now he's gonna have the chance to do that. The thing that sucks is even after those boys aired out, they said that for the two guys sitting on the chairs cost half the price of one of Rory or Mal. So he's really getting them a real savings right now.
Well, that's is it really a savings when all your sponsorships goes away?
Exactly. He'll build it back up. Salary. Yeah.
Now you just have to pay people. The money's coming out more than it's coming in now with all this sexual stuff. So
yeah, but for the moment, Joe's had worse. Remember when Joe had the whole masturbating dog thing, and that became a whole issue. That people
domestic violence. Yeah,
domestic violence. So they'll come back. He already knows he's gonna cook it up. It might take 10, 15, 20 episodes before people's back then, but he's gonna catch a hot wave, do a crazy hot take on something. It's gonna catch flame on the internet, and he'll be like, "Welcome back." You know what I'm saying? JVP, right where he has to. What else we have in hip hop? We finally got the battle of the century. Soulja Boy versus Bow Wow about to happen on Versus.
No. Romeo, was it?
No, they canceled that.
It's Soulja Boy versus Shad Moss.
Yeah.
Right? That's his name. I don't think he wants people to call him Bow Wow anymore.
Oh, for real? Come on, stop it.
You know, we ain't respecting that. He's Bow Wow to me. It's the reverse. You know what I'm saying? Mama named you like
your career name's Bow Wow, so
we know you as Bow Wow, we call you Bow Wow. So him and Soulja Boy supposed to be having a versus.
Okay.
Are you guys even still watching Versus?
Whenever they move to that little Triller app,
that's
me.
So they're not even on the internet anymore at all?
It's still on Instagram and stuff, but it just seems it's so Hollywood.
Yes.
Okay.
You don't
get the last one I saw probably was the Keisha Cole and
Ashanti.
Yeah.
We spoke about that one.
Yeah, that was the last one I saw. Like I didn't see the Isley Brothers one. I'm pretty sure. I think someone else happened. Like who was?
Method Man.
I remember.
They had Method Man and Red Man.
I definitely wasn't catching that. That could have been on Apple TV, and I would want to call that
to New York for you.
SWV versus
to New York for me.
The Method Man would have been to New York. The New York one would have been, wasn't it Ghostface and Raekwon?
Yeah. That's another one. I made sure I missed.
Not checking that one. I was like, that's too damn New York.
But y'all know Mr. 106 in Park taking it though. I might not watch it, but like I already know Mr. 106 in Park gonna come.
You think so? You think Bow Wow got more hits than Soulja Boy?
Mr. 106, I call him Mr. 106 in Park for a reason. Like I don't want y'all to downplay what Bow Wow was doing because Bow Wow was a little younger while he was doing it.
I know Bow Wow's a hip hop legend,
right.
Even though nobody wants to give him that legend.
They don't want to give him, which is crazy to me.
He's a legend. But Soulja Boy got some hits now. Especially all this TikTok stuff and stuff like that.
I just
see that. I think that's where Soulja does have an advantage because he's still making more recent relevant music, and I can't remember the last recent song Bow Wow did.
I just hope Soulja Boy has like a good DJ that could blend. Anytime someone stole something from him, he could blend it right into the mix. Like you know how you said Drake stole his whole flow. He might even start off with the Drake track. Like, hold on, that's not. Then it blend in and cuts back into the song. Now we can keep showing that Soulja taught everybody first. Like, we can stand on that. I don't know if he'll have that ability to do it, but Soulja's having a hell of a run, man. Soulja Boy. So we'll see how that works out. You know, he just put up a thing showing how he was even the first rapper on YouTube, apparently. That shit is crazy. The stats this guy has.
I believe it. You remember? Can you remember when Crank That came out? Like that was just a movement. Like people were not used to like a phenomenon like that, right? Because remember he did that beat on Fruity Loops, right? We didn't even know what that Fruity Loops. Like he did that beat on Fruity Loops, and he just making cash.
Yeah, man.
Cash.
You seen that meme online or in the skit online where they said how to, you know how they have like the boogeyman, they said how to what is it? They said basically how to summon Soulja Boy instead of going in the mirror and say boogeyman, you just say, you just go in front of the mirror, you say, I was the first, and you see him come up, man, I was the first. Like, man, stop playing with me, man. I was the first doing all types of shit. So if you even claim you're the first, he cuts in and just starts haunting the player.
Yes.
When is that verse supposed to come out though, Nate?
Let's
did they even
if they
give a date?
Let me see. Soulja Boy, let me look it up.
So Barry, you got
I'm seeing Mr. 106 apartment.
Who you got, Gray?
Got Bow
I'm
Wow.
gonna give
What about you, Nate?
I want to see Soulja Boy pull an upset. I don't know if it's possible. But
I'm gonna give it to Soulja just based on personality.
Well, they like
I think his personality is gonna show during that verses. I think he's gonna cut up.
Yeah, because Bow Wow can't shake that
being to those verses.
Yeah, Bow Wow can't shake being not likable or being lame. Yeah, I'm giving it Soulja Boy. You already know Soulja Boy gonna come to the top. Yep. He might come with that Gucci.
Yeah, I think Soulja's is on the music end. Bow Wow might get him. But when it comes to the actual battle and telling stories and stuff like that, I think Soulja Boy is gonna win that victory.
I think Soulja got more like bigger recent hits than Bow Wow because
I think that's gonna be the only concern.
It was done like early during his years.
Yeah, it's gonna. I'm trying to find the date. He says it's official versus. I think they're gonna show it. I don't think they specified the date yet. So it's supposed to be in the works.
Yeah, most likely we won't watch it anyway. So
yeah.
That's gonna be an episode. The last one I watched
we'll catch all the funny stuff that Soulja Boy say on Instagram or somewhere. But hey.
the last one I might have seen was the one with Ludacris and Nelly.
Yeah, man, I was super disappointed in that one because I thought Nelly was gonna come out there and do some damage to Ludacris, but Ludacris kicked his ass.
Yeah, Ludacris caught a body that night. Do we have anything else in hip hop? Last I heard of even Nelly was when someone tried to bring up Nelly's allegation on T.I. and then they tried to say that T.I. forced them to have sex with T.I., Tiny, and Nelly in there. T.I. just responded this week by releasing a track. As he said, police has never even investigated him or came up to him. So even though we keep hearing a different story, a different case, they're trying to bleed out the money. You know what I'm saying? All these accusers are like, don't accuse nothing, go to the police. Simple as that. You know what I'm saying? You ain't gotta, but I can see he's being Gloria all right, the situations. They're gonna keep hitting you with allegations. We're looking for people. We're gonna keep messing up your bag until you settle.
Right. Again, like I said, when I see people very confident, about the police, I get very worried. I know y'all talked about that guy up in Canada.
Yeah.
Right? That is a very confident person up there.
Listen,
that little man in Canada.
Only you're not guilty people are that confident. When you saying the police ain't contact me, you're not guilty, bro. Because we know the police love a guy that's gloating. They're like, oh, we got something for that. They was like, he's bragging on Monday. We're gonna arrest him by Wednesday. But if T.I. said we ain't been contacted by no police, don't believe none of this nonsense. One thing needs to be done though. I don't know who's gonna stand on the side of it, but it is too rampant. Literally almost every week a rapper gets accused of sexual assault. There's that third. and I'm sure it happens in the league too, but they have the money to pay it on the league, keep it on the table. These rappers, I don't know what type of money they get, but it's just a simple fact that we're not hearing about rock stars. We're not hearing, this is too blatant that this happens too often, bro. Ain't that many rapists in the world. Not in this one. It's crazy. Every week, I'm just saying they might be, but I'm just saying, what are the odds? They're all.
The problem is I don't think they can afford to pay off like a lot of those other genres can afford to pay off. I'm just saying, like you're not gonna hear it in the business world because we'll just cut a check. All right, goodbye.
It's not even the pay. I'm talking about the actual deed. It's the deed being done. This is a whole hustle. I'm gonna say, let's say a couple of them did break, get those guys up out of there. But the fact that every week another rapper is facing an allegation, especially if he's cooking. You know what I'm saying? Every week is another group of up and comer rape charge. I'm like, come on. So these labels just going around and signing rapists. This part of what are the odds?
I think sexual assault is definitely, the ability to sexually assault is definitely more prevalent. Mm-hmm. And honestly, like I said, because I couldn't tell you if sexual assault is happening in country because I don't watch country. I don't watch rock. I don't watch none of the. I don't watch that. I don't even know what channel that stuff comes on. So I don't even know where their news is happening. All right, for me to know if it's going down in the country world.
It's not being reported on TMZ for them. This is another thing that happens on Black artists. Is on TMZ is a white outlet in a sense. Every time a Black artist comes out, even if he's never had no TMZ coverage, soon as he gets that sexual charge, Black on TMZ. It's one of those things that's like culture vulturous in a sense. Like if you watch Vlad TV, only the big name artists make there. But Let You Die, you've never had Vlad TV. Oh, so and so forth artist from Palm Beach dies. He never interviewed you, never mentioned your article. You never been to the platform. But as soon as you die, you get that headline. TMZ same way. There's artists that are up and coming. They never mention this other rape allegation. It's Black front page.
But do we think it's a cause of this whole Me Too movement?
It's not.
Could that be a component to where
it could be all
hello,
that?
Hey, how you doing? Is offensive?
Because if it was a cause of just that,
it's been happening long before that.
Yeah, it's been happening. If it was just a cause of that, how come they're not reporting when it happens to the other genres? Because they're constantly reporting the rapper one, people say like, "Oh, this is a quick way to get a check. I can sleep with this guy and then accuse him, and I stick around, go on a case, and he settles 2-3 months down the line."
Yeah,
not even reporting with the other genres. You're not making it
his entourage or the party, and
they're not making it a business. All these other genres take down girls too when they're on the trip. They're running around doing whatever they got to do. You know what I'm saying? And how come when they get charged with a case, how come it's not being brought up? This is another shakedown that sadly comes with hip hop. You know what I'm saying? You're not seeing the CEO of the label. He takes down groupies. It's always the star. You know what I'm
saying? That's why you have to, especially when you are the star, right? You know, you have to have so much insulation around you.
Man, these guys are taking down women. That's what we thought.
Can't even come near. They can't do it.
I thought he was bringing his wife with him, and they're taking him down. You can't bring your wife with you to bust him down. What can you do there? Right. You know what I'm saying? It's a wild. You just got to record all these things. They tried going after Bow Wow in his house. Remember not Bow Wow, Chris Brown. He had to release the footage talking about she was lying. It's always something. This thing really, there's got to be consequences to this false accusations. Seriously, because especially if you're or maybe it's not worth it. Maybe it's the cost of doing business. You know what I'm saying? Some of these guys, you know what I'm saying? But you'd had Kodak Black, you name them though. All these artists.
You had from Pac to Kodak to Game. Who else?
Listen, some of these guys probably did it, but I'm just saying at the rate of you're saying Pac and Kodak, it was rare back then. Now literally every week academics is posting a new up and comer or get charged with getting accused.
Well, we're in the believe all women era. So
I'm just saying it shouldn't be picked up by
the ability to just lie about it, even if it's not true. They feel comfortable just coming out because everybody's gonna get behind them.
It's a wild.
Like I said, again, I'm waiting for this court case to happen with that guy in Canada.
That case is over with, bro. We just ain't heard about it yet.
I would think Mr. Lanez would be much more vocal because this, like I said, that was a confident man the way he's talking.
He's still confident. He's over here dropping scholarships for women. He's out. Meg ain't worried about it. He ain't worried about it. He's like, man, I was just a misunderstanding. You know what I'm saying? This is just like the Migos say. This just need a little straightening. All we know is this is a case of the magic bullet. Someone got shot. We don't know who the shooter is, and that's it.
Out of 4 people in the car,
We're just gonna move on, folks. We just gonna move on. You know what I'm saying? I'll tell you what, if you want to stay out of jail, you better start being a prominent COVID vaxxer. So about folks, I need to stay like, keep the media on your favor. Like, folks, get this medication, get this. He needs to switch to that lane. Do whatever you got to do. But he I don't know how it's gonna go. I just thought that's kind of wild that he got. That was the last thing that was from Mindeli. That I said that they brought up on that one. Only other thing I have in hip hop is your boy Drake might possibly be the greatest of all time. Billboard showed it this past weekend. I don't think it's disputable now, but you know. What award did he win?
I think that's a well deserved. He won Artist of the Decade.
Yep.
So I think from 2010 to 2020, he definitely was the best artist out at that decade. I don't think it's even close.
And you know me and Nate, we were on a text thread with one of Drake's biggest detractors. And it's just like I just spit facts when I say best I ever had came out in we're in 2011. Best I ever had was 09.
2009,
2010.
He's been in the top 3 conversation, flip however you want to flip, since that time. That's not normal, right? Like that's not normal. And he don't look like he's slowing down anytime soon.
Yeah.
And what I think what benefits him is which is especially what's different from even when Jay-Z was running it, when M was running it, when 50 was running it. He has no problem being inclusive with new rappers, right? Yeah. So he has no problem. Oh, you Lil Durk, come through. Little Baby, come through. Like, all you come through, right? And because as long as everyone's elevated, he just stays right where he needs to stay at.
You know, he took a page out of Jay-Z. Whenever he stays hot by whoever's getting hot, let me stand next to them. I'll soak up the heat and I'll go on to the next one. You know what I'm saying? You might get a 1 track from him, you know what I'm saying? Even Lil Baby today, I mean,
that Lil Baby track, man.
The Baby today even said he's still waiting on his Drake features. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes you could make it without him, but you get that, like they said, the Drake stimulus package. He's definitely gonna take off. That's what academic calls it, the Drake stimulus package. Drake definitely. If we go down to the GOATs in his era, it should have been let's say it was Drake, Kendrick, Cole. Who's the other one? One of my Big Sean.
I don't think Wale gets talked about enough because he doesn't put. I don't want to say he doesn't put enough projects because I think he got 3 or 4 in this decade span.
He gets talked about enough, but he's just not. There's some people that's just not top tier. He's not A+. He's B+ for sure, but he's not top tier because he was a woke artist and he's too. He could. Maybe if Wale stuck to just making those female hits throughout his whole career, he would have been there. But he switches it up so much, you can't really pin him down. He's doing crunk music. The next he's doing.
Yeah. I mean, for me, the album About Nothing is one of my favorite albums. And
the mixtape to go with it, mixtape 2 is another fire. Yep.
So I'm a fan of Wale. I don't think Wale gets enough of the when they talk about I kind of put him slightly above Big Sean.
Listen, he don't have the following that Big Sean is. Listen, Big Sean to me is a beast. Before he ended up falling in love and needing his all full therapy bound and being all mellow, Big Sean to me could have been one of the top guys out there. I felt he shot himself in the foot. I feel J. Cole is one of the top ones, but after Forest Hill Drive and he was able to do an album with no features and people loved him, he decided to play into that lane so much more. Gave us 3 more albums that same way, no features, which made people either hate him or love him. His fans loved him. People online talking about he's boring. They got no luster. So that's why I like this last album of his, which is super fire. Mm-hmm. But he got his features out. It's a good way to go out. But it is the kind of thing. But I feel like in our era, it's gonna be Drake. For sure. If you're doing numbers of sales, if you're doing straight lyricists, the only other person that's going to come comparable, I mean, other people are comparable, but if you'd have to match it with the sales, they're going to say it's Kendrick. So they're gonna say, you know what I'm saying, lyrically, they're gonna give it to Kendrick every time, and sales is gonna go to Drake every time. I don't think there's enough that everyone ever would say Cole was number one. He's like a solid number two.
I would say Cole's the number 3, but the fall off between 3 and 4 is so big.
Yes.
Yeah.
100%.
Because it's only those top 3, Drake,
unless I
in
would
the same
slip,
order, Drake,
unless I would
Kendrick,
slip
Cole.
Meek, unless we
And
want
then
to
4,
slip Meek in
number
there.
4 is like, there's a big gap between 3 and 4.
Unless y'all would have slipped Meek in there.
Meek Mill.
Maybe Meek would be number 3.
Meek Mill's not even, we didn't even include him in the 5. If you put in Wale and Big Sean, Meek.
I would say Meek Mill's on top of Wale and Big Sean, sales wise and everything. Meek is one of the biggest artists. You know what I'm saying? Meek, definitely.
I think he lost a lot of that credibility when he
went against Drake. Of course, you go against number
Drake
1
and Nicki Minaj, and how he
Meek
got ducked by Nicki Minaj. That took a big hit on Meek Mill. He's still recovering from that.
Meek
I don't think he's over that relationship yet.
Meek is a street dude that Drake made it cool to disrespect all the time. You know what I'm saying? He makes it cool that every now and then we look at him like we like to highlight his L's, but this man still sells platinum records. He's one of the biggest artists. He has one of the biggest Get Him Free Meek campaigns out there. I would give him a number 4 for sure.
You can't, bro. You can't, bro.
4?
The artists of the
after
decade
Drake, I would
made
say
him
Drake,
a meme,
Kendrick,
bro.
Cole, and Meek. Those Big Sean is definitely not bigger than Meek.
You're gonna compare him like what's the
I'm talking about impact. I'm talking about sales.
How much impact do you think Meek Mill had on the industry?
Massive.
What impact he had?
What impact?
Reform.
You
Okay.
guys are asleep.
Justice reform. Yeah. Okay.
I never heard of someone say, "I can't wait for that Meek Mill feature."
It's not the feature. It's the album rollout. You forget how big
nobody's even waiting on his album. Who?
Meek got a whole judge
waiting
out
on
of
Meek
here,
Mill
bro.
album?
Meek got billionaires. 2 different sets of billionaires just coming down and chilling with him, bro. This dude was massive, bro. You know
But that's on police reform. That's on police reform.
Yeah,
that's not on music. We talking about music.
They all rolled into one. His lifestyle and his music is very much intertwined. We know that. He's been on parole since he got into the game for the same charge we got on his whole career. He's had you know what I'm saying? Rock Nation, oddly enough, manages pretty much everyone we mentioned on this list outside of Drake, which is a cheat code within itself. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I'm saying? Meek gets signed to Rick Ross, ends up even outshining his boss. He's that big. Meek is massive, man. His only bad step in this thing was going against Drake. I'm saying
He was misled.
Yeah, he was misled because people were talking about that Drake verse was fire. They're like, and he felt it was the type of way he's like he said he was on them Xans back then.
That's that jealousy.
He was on the perks back then. He blamed it on the perks. Don't blame him. You know what I'm saying? The drugs got the best of him. You know what I'm saying? They fixed the friendship up. Them boys, every time they get together, they do some fire music.
Fire.
That's
one thing.
Drake is definitely the GOAT because Drake has so much people he pairs with that so well. Drake and Ross.
Drake and Meek. I mean, those two.
Now, that's not only two. You got Drake and Ross, Drake and Meek. Now you have Drake and
Lil Baby.
You know what I'm saying? He has people that he pairs with. Like this shit's freaking. It's fire.
I'm definitely watching to see what Lil Baby does over the next few years. I think if he can consistently remain like spitting and killing. Like first of all, his album was fire. Like his album still get listened to like yesterday. Yep. Like his album was fire.
Which one? The Ghetto Gospel?
No.
Street Gospel or the latest one, My Turn or something?
Yeah. The latest one that he got like the 2 tracks with 42 Dugg on it.
Yeah,
absolute fire. We already know what he did to Drake on that three piece that Drake dropped. He definitely got J. Cole on J. Cole's album as well too. So I'm watching to see what Lil Baby doing.
And he's taking the whole social, I guess conscious.
Yes.
What's that? Because I saw a Lil Baby on CNN at the White House today.
Oh, yeah.
with George Floyd family. I was like, what is that? What the hell Lil Baby doing at the White House?
Lil Baby, yeah, he did. He definitely did.
Damn.
I'm like, that was big because I didn't see no other entertainer other than Lil Baby that went to the White House with George Floyd family. That was a lot of. I was like, he's up there.
He still had all his jewelry on him.
I'm watching him.
I don't think he had any jewelry on him, but he was there. He was there with the family at the I guess after they had the whole meeting where that is another absurdity on Joe Biden saying he's not gonna sign no bill until it's right. Well, because he don't want to sign the bill until it's the right bill. I'm like, bro, just
makes sense because
we could amend the bill later.
Nah, because the bill don't have it don't have no teeth in it. Don't have right now the bill doesn't have the thing where the police the police get where they can't be sued.
The something immunity.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Herd immunity.
Yeah.
Right.
So without that in there, it has no teeth in it.
Add that later. I mean,
it's just symbolism. They don't plan on adding it later. That's why he's like, now we got to get it now at a moment of that. Because if not, it don't have any teeth. It's just symbolic. So it's like,
what are executive orders for?
Who knows? I mean, you know, Trump.
I thought that's how
you got to pull out the executive, but you already know the executive order. The next person that comes right under you can underwrite it. But if you want to make it a law,
hey, black folks just want something. Executive order that, and we'll deal with it with the next person that comes try to get rid of it. Right. But give us that with that executive order, like you did.
Blank sheet.
So I don't understand this whole we can't get this bill passed or blah blah blah. You have
that's always the issue with the Democrats, man, is that they want to do, like, they see Trump coming there and you're like, oh, this is what I'm gonna do. Oh, I don't care you say I can't do. I'm just gonna do it anyway. And he just executive order everything. And they're like, no, let's follow the rule of the land. They're like, man, why now we gotta follow the rule? The last guy didn't. Like, we don't want to follow it now. Let's keep that same momentum up.
Exactly. Yeah, give us the 3 years. You're in office for 3 more years. Give us that for 3 years at least, and we'll worry about it in 3 years. But we have to have bipartisan this and that. He can't do executive order. That's
I'm looking up this to me. I look up the Spotify plays. Now this means nothing, but if we're going by Spotify, then you guys might be on to something. Just my monthly listeners, just a Spotify only. So Drake gets 52 million a month at this moment. You know what I'm saying? So he's number 1 on the list just off that. Number 2, J. Cole gets 29 million monthly listeners. Mm-hmm. Number 3, which shocked me, is Big Sean, 20 million monthly listeners. Then number 4 would be Meek Mill with 14 million monthly listeners. And then number 5 would be Wale with 7 million monthly listeners. So I guess Wale did drop a notch. I guess he'd be number 4. You know what I'm saying? Was there someone else we forgot that was in there?
Kendrick.
Oh, let's see Kendrick.
That guy out west been chilling.
This is a guy that hasn't dropped an album forever. Guess how much he gets? 26 million. So that bumped Meek Mill right the number. That'd make him number 5, and Wale's off the list. 26 million, yeah. Matter of fact, that put him at number 3 because he passes Big Sean.
I believe it.
This is a guy that hasn't dropped an album since 2017.
Yeah, I'm telling you, those top 3 and number 4 is way down there.
Way down, yeah.
So
big gap.
Who knows? But that's just them. You got guys like Lil Baby still getting massive amount of numbers. I'm saying Lil Baby still gets 26 million streams a week, massive hits. Some people out here eating. Again, that doesn't mean that this is just Spotify, so it's whatever that means. I think that's it we have in hip hop. If I want to switch to anything else, you got anything else?
Other hip hop, y'all seen the new Chief Keef album cover?
No, what happened? Let me look it up.
Chief Keef, okay.
I didn't even think Chief Keef was still a rapper.
Yeah, I was gonna say
You're a full-time rapper.
I haven't heard nothing from him. I haven't heard him doing anything crazy in a minute since 6ix9ine was started snitching on people. I haven't heard from Chief.
Right.
Well, 6ix9ine just did a show this past week. He said these other artists is getting 100 a show. He said, we do 500 over here. 6ix9ine still selling out stadiums. I done told you I'm still eating out here. Still, I guess he's trying to brag. Oh yeah, the thing was packed.
Oh, it was in Texas.
Let me see. What was that? 6ix9ine still the man in these streets.
I think Miami.
That's crazy.
Miami, I think, yeah.
Yeah. Listen, man, people.
I seen the post where he was just like driving and talking shit in the limbo, this and
People
that.
love the adversity, bro. He's a bad guy. Like I said, I don't know why he hasn't released a movie. I would have released a self-documentary called Daniel based on his real name and explain the adversities how to jump through, making it up this while. But he's got tour dates. He's still touring right now.
Titled I Snitched.
Call it something. Maybe not lead into a snitch side after, but make it seem like I survived. You know, I had no choice. So, what would you have me do? You know, that's what I'm saying.
Surviving hip hop.
Surviving hip hop, exactly.
A playoff of surviving R. Kelly. That's surviving hip hop.
Oh, speaking of, I got one in hip hop. Russell Simmons is suing his ex-wife, Kimora Lee Simmons, because he's saying that she's using her bread to pay off her new dudes.
I think they had a stock together, like that they invested in.
Yeah.
Sold half of her shares, and then bailed out her new boo who was in jail.
Yeah, because he's over there doing a Ponzi scheme.
Yeah, who was a fraud on Wall Street, who got I guess who got caught for insider trading or something like that.
And and he's complaining, so he's over here filing lawsuits from Dubai because he knows better than to step a foot in America.
I was gonna say he was one of those first ones who left the country immediately.
He listened to the sound advice of this podcast. He listened to the sound advice of this podcast. They making a documentary about you. Go ahead and leave, my boy. Go ahead and leave.
Yeah, man, look at that. Still got his freedom, you know.
Did they drop that documentary? Like I don't even remember.
That documentary, bro. That documentary leaves you saying, if he did it, you turn in the can and be like, whatever they said he did that shit.
It doesn't even matter, bro.
Nah, the documentary was bad, bro, because they had like 20 women in there of all ages, mind you.
It was produced by Oprah, right?
Yeah, I think it was produced by Oprah. They had like 20 women in there, and these were women that were huge in hip hop. You seen they signed DMX, they were all these artists, and then they just vanished from the game. You know what the hell? They're like, it is kind of odd because these victims weren't from nowhere, and these women were active in hip hop, and out the blue they did disappear. You know what I'm saying? Some of them went to politics, and you ask them what happened, they're like, well, the dude raped me, or he said sexual assault to them, and then when I tried reporting it, nothing happened, so I quit.
Wow.
So, and you got different women from different walks of life. As soon as that happened, it was the same story, bro. It was kind of crazy. I don't know how we can try, but it'd be hard to backdate it. Like, you have to explain how come all these women's careers hit that wall at different points. You know what I'm saying? Everyone from A&R, people that walked in, good people. You're talking about people that signed like Alicia Keys. You know what I'm saying? Why would I still not be in the game? I'd have signed this massive heavyweight. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If I didn't sign this heavyweight, I should be able to ride their coattail forever long. But the person signed them, and they do like, how did you sign this person? You're no longer working in the industry. They let you know what happened. They said this happened. I tried reporting it, or he had too much power. It got me up out of there. It got the documentary is crazy. You know what I'm saying? The documentary is crazy. And I'm like, geez, it's not a good look for you, boy. And what's worse is because this was like all in the 80s, and it's widely known. He used to say he was a wild boy in the 80s, he used to do coke. What makes it real conflicting is because he is a changed man now. It's not the 80s version of him that was doing drugs and all that, but
grandfather now.
Yeah, he's the grandfather. He's, now he's on that, he does his yoga and everything else, but he did used to say how back in the days was everyone on drugs, partying, everyone that told stories about him used to say that. So the version of him, which is speaking of back in the days, kind of fits that character. You know what I'm saying? They're not saying he's a monster today. They're saying, but this did happen back then.
I think they got really like cut the line, it was a different time, and
it was never a time.
It was never allowed, bro.
It was never
talking
allowed.
about different time. They said it was different time. Like it was allowed. You're allowed to great people back then. No, nigga, you was still.
Compared to what we're not allowed to do today, like back then, there was like more.
He was taking it.
We was never allowed to great people. Great.
He was taking it, and then after that, going in the next day, and like, hey man, how's it going? Just come by, act like nothing happened, and everyone told multiple women those that say the same situation. Like it's almost like if you watch SVU where a predator has a certain style, all of them told the same. He had the same type of style. It was crazy. Have him go in the shower. It was crazy. Maybe, maybe that's the reason after a while he mellowed out, like I said, but that's why people didn't like, because after years of being a philanthropist and all that, after he changed his life around. But one thing about him, check his early years, when he started Def Jam early back then, people would say this man was a wild boy selling drugs, doing drugs. He was a wild man back in the days. You know what I'm saying? So it's just crazy. I'm like, damn, it sucks. The one lady on that, the main lady in there, she's like, you think I want to be saying this is another great dude that helped build hip hop? You think I want to put this asterisk in his name? She's like, I know how this is gonna come out. You know what I'm saying? But if you check her resume, she's like a daughter of a politician. So I shouldn't even be in hip hop. But I love this work so much. I came into this realm. I was so in awe with it. Like, these are credible people that's accusing them, bro. It's wild. These ain't no name groupies type thing. These are people that, like I said, they were executives. You know what I'm saying? So it is kind of wild. And he looked at real bad because at the very end, remember, he was calling Terry Crews, telling Terry Crews, go ahead and drop that. You know what I'm saying? When people were getting Me Too, everybody knew, like, oh, let me not pick up this guy's call. But he was calling on behalf of the guys being Me Too. Like, man, go ahead and let that guy go. That's my dog, man. And he didn't expect Terry Crews to be the only guy to be Me Too, but he didn't expect Terry Crews to let the world know. It looked bad on his behalf. They got him up out of there. Oh, he got himself up out of there. He went to Dubai. He said he ain't got to take all this.
Is there no extradition from Dubai or wherever he's at, Bali?
No jurisdiction. Yeah.
It's not even if there's jurisdiction. There's no case. It's been too long. See, if you have an overzealous prosecutor, then you might get railroaded, like, let's say your boy Kells. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? If you feel like it's been 20, 30 years, there's no evidence, but someone that's trying to make their name, they'll lock you up for anything and worry about the details later. You know what I'm saying? And so that's perfect time. He's seen what happened to Kells and be like, I'm up out of here. Kells still can't get a bond. You know what I'm saying? So he's going to have hell up. Whatever charge they end up, he might just plead it out and just get time served.
Kells?
Yep. He ride it out a little bit longer. You get the crowd against you, get this Me Too movement off you. He'll be able to take it to trial, cases drop, and he was saying.
Well, he's gonna have to wait till the whole culture shifts away from this whole narrative of Me Too.
Yeah, I don't know. We might be here for a minute. Anything else, hip hop? We already switch over to only other thing I have is sports.
No, we could go straight into sports because it wasn't a busy week.
Yeah, all we have is Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury fights scheduled to be back on.
Now, who do you guys have on that?
I'm hoping Wilder goes back and win his championship. He's after taking that fight because he had a chance to get a free check.
Yes.
If he passed that up and get his ass whooped, that's gonna be big help.
Exactly.
And
honestly, that's all I'm basing it on. Technically, Westmacott here might be just the one to, just might be that arch nemesis that could beat him anytime he wants.
My thing is, Fury is just too damn big, bro. It's almost unfair, bro. This dude like fighting a damn giant in that ring.
And he's huge and he's skilled. Yeah. And I don't think Wilder is going to be able to overcome that much skill in a year's time. Because I've seen Wilder's training on footwork and stuff like that, but I don't think it's going to be enough to beat Fury.
Yeah, the thing about Wilder though, if he hits you and he sees you kind of stumble, like that adrenaline rush gets it into him. But if as the rounds go later on, he gets a little bit weaker unless he gets a shot and he sees you get hit, then he gets charged and he's trying to knock you out. But if he never gets that shot where he kind of sees you stumble, he tends to get weaker throughout the rounds. You know what I'm saying? If you don't get that shot. So as long as Buddy just box him and stay out, it'll be a very lackluster, but Tyson will get the win over him.
Yeah, I don't think Wilder's gonna win this third fight, and then it's gonna be his last fight in his career probably.
He still had loses. That's a great career, man.
I could see that being his last fight.
What was it? 39 wins, 38 by KO. He's one of the best heavyweights in history. Right. He was more of a brawler, man. He was just coming in there whooping people's ass and keeping it moving. Some of the shortest fights in history. Tyson. I don't know. Tyson Fury could beat him and then retire. They still want Anthony Joshua still wants to get a match, but it's crazy. But if he beats him, we'll see what happens. Whoever beats him, I guess, goes to Anthony Joshua next.
I wonder if Tyson Fury is gonna have a rematch clause in there if he loses.
I don't think you do. I think it went all the way by the champion, regardless on the first time. They're not gonna do no 4 fight. Only people that had 4 fights wasn't it Pacquiao and that one dude?
Did they have 4? Or did they just have the 3?
Was it 3 or 4?
I think it was 3. I don't remember any. What would be a 4 fight card? Because I know there's
the last one is doing the one who knocked out Pacquiao.
Right. That was. I think that was the 3rd fight.
Because I think he beat Pacquiao 3 times or 2 times. I can't remember. But he knocked him out the last time. But yeah, who knows? Wilder, at least he's gonna go down as a warrior, man. What else we have? We already spoke on Kwame Brown. Simone Biles. She's out here still breaking championships, doing all sorts of flips.
She's the GOAT. And the problem is she is such a GOAT in her profession, right? That it's not even fair, right? Yeah, quote unquote. It's not even fair. Like the new stuff these folks haven't caught up to the old stuff.
Yeah, like she was creating new stuff. Yep.
So they can't beat the old stuff, and she's doing stuff that women don't do. Yep. Right. I read an article, I think just today, where they talked about how the judges are purposely scoring the new stuff she's doing lower to try to give the competition some chance to maybe win because they know if they score it accordingly, like you would normally score it, she's gonna win running away every time.
What's crazy?
She's been undefeated for the past 10 years for all around gymnastics.
Because they can't jump faster than her, they can't jump higher than her, they can't do flips. She's just.
That's why representation matters, man. That's why it's crazy. Sometimes you see one thing. What's crazy is there's still very few Black women in Olympic. And gymnastics. They see one more come. Like Gabrielle Douglas was before her, and then she comes. What's crazy is who's coming after her, the people that's watching her. Imagine the next, we think Simone Biles, man. Imagine the next one that comes, the next Black girl that comes after her. This is next level because what she's doing is unbelievable. And her
she's definitely
so that's why I'm
gonna go down as one of the greatest Olympians, period. She's gonna.
I'm saying she's doing it makes me wonder what's the next person gonna do, because that's all people do is you end up inspiring your rival in a sense. Your idols become your rivals. And then just like, let's say Jordan might have inspired Kobe inspired LeBron, you end up inspiring, and the person end up being younger and better and emulating you so well as they're younger and they get better and better. That makes me think, what level could the next person be? Right. Unless they're just gonna maybe they're just gonna put all the non-genre all together from gymnastics, whatever it is. But
you're talking about putting women against men?
From gymnastics, which I think the women tend to do better anyways, aren't they, in gymnastics?
No. For example, the moves that she's doing now, typically only men do.
Okay.
Right. Women don't even because women don't even do the moves that. See, and that's why it's no fair. She's just so good that.
I'm just looking past her because she's blown the competition so much. I don't even think this out. I'm just wondering what's the people after gonna do, because that's how good she is. I like the person she's inspiring. The next Black kid is in that field. It's gonna be a major issue.
That'd be good. We can have more young girl athletes, more young girl.
But the thing with gymnastics is such an expensive sport. So it's like a sport's a privilege. You know what I'm saying?
That, and it's a extremely tough sport to not get injured in your career.
That's true. But they do a lot of practice before they end up doing all these career-ending injuries. Well, I mean, you could sprain an ankle, you could break the pop a knee, but a lot of not life-altering. You're right as far as career injury. Yeah, you can have a career injury.
I mean, we got PPP now, so you know.
This is a protector. So, she's out here just dominating, man. She's a different beast. NBA playoffs, what y'all got on that? I haven't popped in yet. I might just pop in during the finals right now. I'm still hoping the Lakers.
I know Barry's you're a huge LA fan, right?
You already know.
So
what
do you think the chances of LA making it to the
finals? It's definitely going to be a tough road because obviously we've been dealing with injuries this whole year. And and then I got to see which Anthony Davis really shows up for us in the playoffs. Like if he's the aggressive Anthony Davis that we need, like we'll cause folks some problems. Because we already know LeBron is aggressive. We already know how that's going to go down. So I just got to see.
Yeah, LeBron's going to be LeBron.
So I just got to see which Anthony Davis, and then as long as the support team is making those shots. Like again, I'm a fan of Schroeder. I'm a fan of Caruso. Kuzma's still there, right? So I like our chances.
Is there any chance that Brooklyn can't make it? I just don't want Brooklyn to win.
Can't. I think a lot of people are downplaying the 76ers. I definitely think people are really downplaying how good the 76ers are just because of the star power that Brooklyn has.
Is there anyone?
So it won't be like a 4-0 sweep, I don't think.
Yeah, I think Joel Embiid gonna give them a huge problem when it comes to that size in the middle. Joel Embiid gonna give Brooklyn a problem.
Is there anyone you guys are cheering for that outside of that?
I'm rooting for LeBron to get Lakers their 18th.
Yes. And that's the thing. LeBron's already playing with house money. He's already got us the championship. So whatever LeBron do, we happy because he already got us the ring. So this is all free money LeBron playing with. There's no pressure right now.
Yeah, that's true. If we,
I just need AD do what AD do.
So is he out of injury or?
LeBron had ankle. AD had, I think like
calf.
He's a tall guy, so he's always having like leg injuries, which is so annoying. I just need him to just stay healthy, sir. Please. That's all. Let's do this.
But even this first round for the Lakers is gonna be tough.
I like Phoenix. I'm a big fan of like outside. If you took the Lakers out, because I'm a big fan of Chris Paul though. I'm a big fan of Chris Paul. Mm-hmm. I think Devin Booker is a problem, right? They got a center, Ayton. I think he's like a second year. Like I think he's good too. So from a young standpoint, like they got some pieces. Hopefully the pieces develop next year and not this year.
That's how I feel. That's all like everything that can wait.
Develop next year. Get good next year.
I just don't want Brooklyn to win somehow, man. I hope Kevin Durant just the 1 year, man. Because I know I know, man. Kevin again, like from as far as ranked players, Bron obviously number 1, Kevin Durant number 2, man. Kevin Durant, that man is a beast. The fall he took the other day, I was like, how this dude didn't shatter, bro? This skinny ass dude, man. I was like, God, that's what we needed, but he just got up off the floor, man. People talking
I'm not too mad if Kevin Durant win it. I just don't want fucking Kyrie Irving.
Exactly.
It's not even Durant. Durant could win, but fucking Irving. Something about Kyrie Irving just makes me think like
after all that.
You stick it to LeBron's face.
Yeah, I can't have him winning after all that showboat bullshit he did. I just can't have him winning. So that's exactly what it is. I don't want Kyrie to win it that year. Next year, even, but who knows? Things are definitely gonna get tough for them boys. Don't pull it off this year.
Oh, because him, Harden, it's not like they old, so
they still got time.
They still got time. Develop next year after LeBron retire.
You think I thought he was waiting for
LeBron's gonna retire before his son gets into.
Oh no, LeBron. I think he signed like a 50
that championship
mil.
This year. Just secure that championship by the grace of God. He might be like, I'm out, guys. I got
it. Probably an injury gonna cause it, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't think LeBron can get injured like that.
Not career. The past couple years, LeBron's been getting injured, which was not something normal for LeBron to sit out more than a game or two. But he's been going on stretches where he's out for 2 weeks and stuff, and this is not normal. So
that's a sign.
Any chance Portland?
That's a sign of aging.
Portland, nah.
No, I don't think so.
I like Dame Lillard, but they not. Nah. No.
Yeah, they gonna need. He needs more help.
He needs more help.
I don't think it's gonna happen in Portland.
Nope. But he's so stubborn that he's not gonna leave. So.
Yeah, and he's a beast, bro. If he would have joined another superpower, that would damn near be a big three with just him and one other superstar. Would be I would look at it as a big three, even though it's a big two.
Right.
Because Dame is just that dude. That boy can hoop.
A problem.
See, there's already talks. They're talking about Steph Curry should leave the Clippers.
Warriors?
Warriors. Yeah.
Steph Curry ain't going nowhere. Yeah, but it was sad for them boys this year. Like they lost both of them playing games. I was like, because I was like, okay, I expected them to lose to the Lakers, but then I was like, Grizzlies, all right, they're gonna be the 8th seed. But the Grizzlies came and kicked their ass.
John Morant, he's gonna be nice. I ain't gonna lie. He's nice. He's gonna be a problem.
Yeah.
Especially when a player believe that like he's that dude. I'm like, okay, this is the kind I like to see.
That's just like Trae Young. Trae Young in Atlanta.
Yep, in Atlanta.
He's one of those dudes that, hey, I'm gonna kick your ass and I'm gonna talk shit while I kick your ass. And when I give you this dagger, I'm not being quiet about it. I'm putting it all in your face. I'm the guy.
For us Florida guys, any chance we can get past the Bucks?
Oh no, Miami's gonna get swept.
We done for it.
Swept? I don't know.
You don't like to get at least one game?
Nah.
We didn't expect Miami to make the playoff last year.
Listen, did you watch the game yesterday?
Nah, I didn't watch it.
They lost by 30. Bro, after the first 2 quarters,
give it away.
Milwaukee was up by 30 points after the first 2 quarters, bro.
Oh yeah.
I was like, yeah, Miami's getting swept, bro.
They come home.
They'll be lucky if it's a gentleman's sweep, but I think they get the hardcore swept. There ain't gonna be no gentleman's sweep. It's gonna be hardcore.
Milwaukee remember what happened last year to them, so they remember.
Yeah, and they come in with a vengeance.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they're gonna get swept. That's the only way Milwaukee can actually redeem themselves from losing to them last year, anyways, to sweep them this year.
Dominate them.
So,
what are the implications of what they switched up this season when they end up doing? What is it? What was it? This is the original.
You talking about the play-in tournament?
Yeah, the play-in tournament. This is the original. What are the implications?
This play-in tournament definitely here to stay.
Yeah, because that was exciting.
Yes.
I don't get. Hold on. What happened?
Those few
what are the implications? What was the difference in the previous season?
Well, I guess it's from number 7 to number 9.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a lottery now.
7,
it's
7
not
and
a
10.
Lottery. It's
7 and 10. So, if you could be the 10th seed, because I think Grizzlies was they the 9th? Grizzlies might have been a 9th.
Yeah,
Grizzlies might have been a 9th, but like, so you have that opportunity, especially in the West, where even at the bottom, you're probably 2 or 3 games away from being the 7th seed, because that's how close they typically hold it. So just knowing that you have that opportunity, and again, it doesn't allow you to kind of slow down, because you gotta, especially if you're on the top, you gotta hold down that 6th seed, because you don't want to. You don't want to have to play in and unfortunately possibly lose 2 games. So definitely here to stay.
And there was a lot of critics about this whole playing thing, because NBA players like, what are we in college? Where blah blah blah. Right. But this definitely made people want to watch.
Yes.
The last few games of the regular season.
What is it? Doesn't it also make you feel where you can't tank, or you shouldn't tank anymore?
Well, you still can tank, but if you're balancing around that 10th through 7th, or 10th through 7th, you can't slack off the last couple of games, even if you're in the 6th seed, you don't want to fall into that 7th seed.
Exactly.
So you still got to play hard,
so
and the West is so close. The West is so close. You could be the 5th seed, and if you decide I'm gonna take the rest of these few games off, you could end up in the 8th spot.
Yep.
So there's no slacking in the West, but in the East is different. And the East is a little different because there's only like 3 good teams in the East, or dominant teams. So, but it's definitely, I think it's here to stay, and it's good for the league, at least from my perspective.
What is it about the West that's like that? It's been like that for a while. Like, are they just so much better, or what is it like? All the best players?
No, I thought they flipped the West. Didn't LeBron flip it?
I think not. No, the West has always been a better conference since Jordan left, I believe, right? Yeah. I would say. since the Bulls wasn't
Well, then I
around.
thought
Since
they
the
ended up
Bulls wasn't the
flipping, or the
Bulls, the
East
West
ended up
has
becoming-
always been dominant in the league.
Mhm.
So, because to be number 8 in the West, you'll be number like 3 in the East.
Right. Yeah, it was some crazy. Like
So-
it was. I think probably we get so skewed because LeBron was on the East for so long. So a lot of times it really was just Bron coming out of the East, and it didn't
That
matter
was
who
LeBron
was 2,
versus
3.
the West.
Right.
For the past decade, it was LeBron versus whoever comes out of the West.
Right.
And there was no other thought. LeBron versus the West.
Yeah, do you guys have anything else? There was a big deal this past weekend with the Shannon Sharp's phone call. What was it called? I don't know if he ended up leaking. I don't know. People are saying.
I think Julio Jones. I
Yeah,
guess he wants
Julio
to
Jones
leave.
saying.
Oh
if
yeah, Julio Jones wants out of Atlanta. And
And
Julio
they're
Jones kind of a little disrespectful to the organization, even though I don't give a damn about organizations. But he damn well knew he was on TV with Shannon Sharp.
Yeah, people are trying to
To
say.
end it with, I'm out of there. It's like,
Yeah, he said, "Oh yeah, I'm
bruh,
out here. I'm
you're
out
still under contract. They don't have to let you go. And he said, I'm out of there.
Hey, I like it.
It was
though.
hilarious.
This is one chance where the player gets to use the media in his favor. Because you already know what happens when you want to be out and they don't want to pay you. They start doing negative tabloids, disgruntled, or all this off-field stuff. All I'm saying, you know how to do to lower your price, you know what I'm saying, or keep you around. So you get ahead of it. You know, you call Uncle Shannon, make your friends y'all out there, you know what I'm saying? Work it to your favor.
Exactly.
Yeah, but people were trying to say it's messed up that Shannon put him online and didn't know he was on air. But there's a
He
one of the
knew-
chances.
I believe he knew he was on air. I think Shannon probably even told him, "Hey, you're on air," before we even have
That
this
part of-
conversation.
That part wasn't on air. You know what I'm saying? But if he said that, but what are the chances that he's mic'd up, that you can hear him all that and he say, "Hey, thanks for calling me back," whatever it is, but I'm not sure. But he didn't say nothing much other than the fact that he didn't want to go to Dallas.
No, he said he didn't say he didn't want to go to Dallas. He asked him, "Where do you want to go, and would you play in Dallas?" And I think his last question was, "Are you gonna be in Atlanta?" And he was like, "Nah, I'm out of there." So I don't think
Yeah.
it was any shots at any other teams. It was just it lowers Atlanta's ability to get the most for him, since
Right.
all the other teams know he don't want to be there and he wants out, so they could get him for cheap or not for much. Because I think Atlanta wanted like a first round pick for him. So
Oh,
I
it's
don't
just-
think that's happening anymore after he expressed to the world that he out of there.
Now, lastly, is Tebow officially coming back?
Tebow officially signed a 1-year deal with the Jaguars. That's
Legend.
tied in.
Legend.
Just crazy. I mean,
Privilege.
talk about privilege.
He got no more privilege than your boy J. Cole, apparently. Because as you can see, what was that a dude? Did that dude also play for an African basketball team as well?
Who?
The guy that was criticizing J. Cole today, saying that J. Cole
Oh yeah.
taking food out of athletes' mouths because he's already wealthy and rich. Got his dream. Now he's gonna come over here and take other people's dreams.
Hey, we that's like America getting the vaccine first.
He's used to it.
Same concept.
Thank God, said J. Cole, look, I just off-put this Jew. I just came back to get it.
And J. Cole out there spending money he just bought the whole team new gear.
I mean, J. Cole dropping 3 points, 2 points, you know, was the least you could do. Getting a couple rebounds. I would like to see the story come out dope where he's actually balling out there, but what are the odds? You take that much time off of basketball and come back.
Right. You're just not walking in there and
yeah, who knows? We'll see how it works. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how long he's gonna stay out there. But yeah, same thing with
imagine if you make it to an NBA team.
If he works for it, like
No
he started over
publicity.
there and ball out and actually make it. If I was an NBA team, I would have signed him. Just the jersey, so it's still
Oh, hell no.
it's still a business. Put him on the bench a little bit. If I'm gonna lose,
Well, just for what, publicity or
publicity, yeah, get some.
Yeah.
Let them shoot a couple shots, get them jersey tails up. It's still a business at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying?
Doing warm up,
I'm doing a little warm up. Call them in if we had.
halftime warm up.
Yeah. It's still a business, dog. I got that Jermaine Cole out there.
He could eat 2 times because he could be playing ball and do the halftime
I'm
performance.
trying to get a double bag.
Yes.
Yeah.
Double dip on the NBA. Do the halftime performance. Get a quick million off of the show.
Hey, he's been doing the shows for the NBA. Well, wasn't like last 2 seasons he's been doing. He did for sure when there was in Charlotte, the All-Star games. He's been playing with the sports team and all that. He's been looking out for the NBA the last few years. So there's the least they could do for the kid. So that's good. So Tebow signs a 1-year deal, which is crazy.
For how much?
No, on Tebow. Let me see.
I'm not sure.
Did they?
Probably got the veterans minimum.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's Florida. What do you expect from Florida, bro? It's Florida. We do dumb shit all the time. What's the difference from our sports teams?
True.
Yeah, so we'll see if he comes back and he actually balls though. Quiet all these naysayers.
That'll be something to see.
Exactly.
That would be hilarious. Becomes the biggest fantasy player.
Has a tight end?
Yeah,
Yeah, I think that's the position, right?
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's
tight end. You can get score touchdowns and a lot of yards out as a tight end now with how the league is going. So tight ends are a big deal nowadays.
You see if he does.
Yeah.
That's it I have for sports. Only other thing I have in pop culture is the fact that the whole unveiling of this UFO stuff. You haven't seen those videos?
I think we talked about that last podcast.
With the UFOs? Did we bring that up? I don't think we brought that up.
Hey, you've been on a conspiracy theory wormhole for the past week. I see.
It's COVID,
everything related to Nate. Nate brings up some conspiracy stuff.
I've been trying to challenge conventional news. It's not all
It might be Nate, you know.
You might be a conspiracy theorist, Nate.
It might be Nate.
I've been trying to find. This isn't a conspiracy though. This is the news. They released a bunch of UFO footage. They don't know what it is. We don't know what it is. It's very blurry.
You're just seeing shooting stars, man.
Nah, they're seeing stuff at the bottom of the lake. It goes down. It's shooting straight up. The speed, the ability of us able to move. They don't know of any crafts that we have that could do such things. They released a bunch of. CNN just released a bunch of. Not CNN. 60 Minutes just did a documentary on it.
Yeah.
But I do believe there have to be some type of life form outside of just humans in this whole universe.
Oh, of course.
If you believe in the universe, there has to be something else out there.
Well, that's what the first
But to say their technology would be that much
advanced.
advanced than us,
It could be, yeah.
That's what it'll take for you.
I just
to
don't think they're here yet. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's what it'll take for you to not be in those other 9 planets near us for you to get here. You'd have to have that much better technology. But they're saying stuff that within seconds just go from 0 to like 200-300 Mach 2 speed in seconds from any shape, vertically, sideways. They said we don't have no technology like that they know of. And if the enemy has that, then they got our number called. And you said they'll be in and out running through us. And they said they keep showing up in restricted airspace.
My thing is, like, if they got all this technology, how like you wouldn't be able to see me, right? Like you wouldn't be. I'm moving freely.
They can't get a close shot. You know, they have the camera that kind of tracks it, so it's tracking it from a distance and it's catching the speed. The thing is flying, and there's no propulsion. You don't see no fire. No, they're not understanding. It's like it's pushing gravity in a sense. Any kind of like a mat, you know what I'm saying? That's what they're saying. There's no propulsion system to it. The thing might be as smooth as a beam and it's running, which they're not understanding this technology whatsoever. I think we overdue for aliens anyways, bro. We done got COVID. We done seen, you know what I'm saying? We done seen lots of stuff in our life. I think we long overdue for some aliens.
Right.
Let us get this aliens out here. Let us get it out there. Imagine shows stuff we've been watching. This is the biggest hype we've been watching alien movies our whole life. This would be the in our lifetime. What a time to be alive, man. We got iPhones. We got cars that drive themselves, Teslas, and next is aliens. I don't know how true it would be, but we'll see. Maybe it's another facade the government's trying to do the switch. That's all I got, man. Y'all guys want to give us any other things or give us your recommendations?
Out of pop culture. Oh, we're done. We're done.
You got anything else? That was my pop culture. What else you have?
You were talking about Paul Mooney died at 79.
Yeah, we talked about Paul. Didn't we say rest in peace, Paul Mooney, last podcast?
No, it just happened.
Yeah, it just happened. Yeah.
Really?
They try to meet too Paul Mooney last year, but a year or so back when his bodyguards claimed that he had raped Richard Pryor's son or had a relationship with him when he was a minor.
Oh wow.
Or younger or something like that. But at the time Paul Mooney was already losing his I guess he said he had bad memory, he was losing his memory, so he couldn't come and do the interview to rebuke the allegations. So he played it smart, say, yeah, I'm about to check out anyways. Give me some time and postpone the interview. Like, nah, I'm gone. The boy played the long game.
Then you also had Billy Porter revealed he's HIV positive.
Yeah, Billy Porter.
Yeah.
Billy Porter.
I had something. I don't know if it was Billy Porter is the guy that the
Grammy with extravagance.
Oh, okay.
He always got that he always be killing these broads with his outfits. That's what Billy Porter's dress code is.
I do him. Yeah.
He does. So, what he said he's HIV positive?
Yeah, he came out. He's been living with HIV for some time. Apparently, his character that he plays in the show on FX has that as well, but.
I was gonna say now to think about it because he is Pose or something. I think I saw Maria watching that.
So
all right. So he's living his character.
Yeah, he says the stigma is now lifted. He don't feel like it's wrong to come out of it.
The stigma been lifted for like.
HIV is not even something we even.
Now, let me talk on the podcast, right? Because I've told Maria think I'm crazy, right? Well, like. The way from a medicine related standpoint, if you ask me, hey, Barry, do you want diabetes, right? Or you want HIV? I'm going to think about it, right? I have to think about it. Now, mind you,
big on the anti-diabetes. Barry's big on anti-diabetes.
I don't want diabetes.
Right?
Give me that AIDS.
Like HIV.
Give me the mild HIV. Just the mild. Don't give me the hook.
Well controlled. You take one pill, right? It's usually 3 medications in one. But like diabetes again, number one, number 2 cause for blindness in the world. Number 1, number 2 cause for renal failure. Number 1, number 2 cause for amputations. I'm gonna have to think about it. I gotta think about it. Like what's the lifestyle after if I get the HIV? What happens? Like those are questions that got to be answered, and then I got to decide which one I'm gonna take. Right?
Especially watching people like Magic Johnson run around here.
He's all the reason I make you say this ain't so bad. Magic Johnson's the reason. Magic Johnson's the one that ended the stigma.
See, but he might think, oh, HIV this, but I know the gay community was like, fuck.
Here's what I'm thinking. That's why the gay community does have great PR, because the fact that they're overwhelmingly representing HIV and it's not a thing, we don't even make it seem like it's a thing. We act like at one point they used to call homosexuality not a destructive lifestyle, but almost like what do they call I forgot. It was like a medical term for living like almost like a bad lifestyle, almost like drug use or anything like that. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So they considered it that because the high risk lifestyle, right. Because they're so prone to catch it or anything like that. But because we looked at that as if it was socially or it seemed like it was homophobic, they just stopped speaking on that. Even though the fact that majority of the cases that are there, we just act like there is no stigma or that comes with it. Now, if you're wealthy and white and you smash 6 guys a day and you have condoms, that happens. But that lifestyle is promoted. But then the poor folks that don't have the compensation, I'm using the word right, the protection just in general. They're the ones that emulate the lifestyle. They're the ones that get ravaged and AIDS is running through the community. That's why the poor and Black communities is highly overrepresented in that. But because, like I said, the other end is being promoted on TV, and it's not Black guys that are promoted on TV. They don't even speak on that stigma. They don't speak on the fact that it's running rampant through the gay community or anything else like that. They just came out the blue with the what is it, the little medicine they take, the once a day or
Truvada.
Truvada, or you take it before if you think you had it. I like these news are up on camera. These people are up.
And that's not even like a new thing. Like when I was in outpatient practice, they started prescribing it as a prophylactic.
Exactly.
So you could prophylactically if you had high risk sexual behavior.
Yeah, and they know who has high risk sexual behavior. That's what I'm telling you. This isn't my thing with medicine, is that we like to pretend that it is.
Why don't they just push it out for all sexually active people?
Because
because they don't consider, like, let's say if you're heterosexual, but let's say you happen to be having sex with sex workers, right? Then you would be, because like from an insurance the reason why, because like I usually have to document from an insurance standpoint, why do you qualify for this? So I have to say, you know what, this guy has sex with sex workers.
Basically, if you're a truck driver or you're gay, this is for you.
So I have to document that. Once I document it, then the insurance will pay for it.
Yeah, if you're living that trucking lifestyle, this might be for you. You know what I'm saying? But
so if I come into your office and I just say, I want to take this, and my reason is, hey, I'm just a hoe out here.
Yeah, no, that's I consider
insurance
that
to pay for it.
Yeah, because that's a high risk. It's really just a billing code. I put a billing code, high risk sexual behavior. You get pre-approved, then you get your medication.
Patient is a hoe. Put that on but all it is, just like we had the gay. I don't know if you ever listened to our gay podcast on here, babe. We had a gay guest on the show. Excellent podcasters, and right now people love that upset. But we do know, like I like to say, you know, because it's two men, you know what I'm saying? They both have the appetite of two men. So more likely they'll just be getting, they might go on Grindr. There's so much more apps for them to just get it in and keep it moving, get it in and keep it moving. And they're cool with that. I don't have the relationship. It happens a bit more, but I don't see that even being promoted as far as that. They might speak on safety or that, but I think the stigma, the reason it's probably even might be getting, maybe the stigma's lifted, but the thing's still spreading is because they act like that's not a thing of it. They act like it's a byproduct. You know what I'm saying? If you don't speak on something, how are you supposed to treat it? You know what I'm saying? You can pop up with, hey, Truvada commercials, is that and the third. But if you don't act like, hey, these guys are knocking this down and the third, this part of lifestyle, it'll never be treated. You know what I'm saying? I thought.
Are the numbers still as high as they were in the gay community when it comes to HIV?
Well, I think from a group standpoint, heterosexual women were always one of the leads. I'm not sure if their numbers have risen any more higher than what it used to be, but I know heterosexual women was usually, unfortunately, is usually a caveat with
download
men. Yes.
Download.
So
they still know. We still know where it comes from. You know what I'm saying? I'm just in general, not to say that they're rampant, but we know what lifestyle it thrives around most of, and then we're spreading it. And the fact that it's almost like it's homophobic to say, hey, what's spreading it? They just don't. They don't speak about it, and then the women are paying the cost, and it's Black women the most who pay the cost because Black folks tend to be the most homophobic. So the Black guys that are gay will be the most down low, and it'd be the Black women that catch it the most. You know what I'm saying? That's why places like Atlanta and Miami be so rampant, and because of that, because the down low aspect of it. But I'm just surprised it's not. I don't think it's talked about enough in that aspect. Not to shame anyone, but you can't get treatment or anything or coverage, or if the stigma was gone, it would be talked about. The fact that it's kind of quiet, the only time we hear about it is when someone gets struck out. But it's good that Billy Porter came out, but it's definitely not talked about enough. These people just popped up with a medicine, I swear, before they even, I'm like, did y'all just came up with a cure overnight? They don't even speak out. They just popped up they just popped up with the thing out the blue. I was shocked. It's kind of odd, but I don't think Billy Porter already plays a character. He's already rich and wealthy and Black, it can't have no negative impacts on him anyways, I don't think. I'm saying Charlie Sheen came out as and it ended his career. So they can't say the stigma is completely gone. Like you see, Charlie Sheen ain't had to work since 2.5 Men when that came out.
The other thing I have, you ever seen that post on Dr. Umar on trying to gamble money to raise money for his school?
Yeah, bro.
I haven't seen it. I thought it was another person hating on Umar.
Nah, he went live at the casino.
Yeah, went live, bro.
Talking about
that's a big L right there. That's
talking about the Marcus Garvey Academy still needs 1.2 million, and we gonna make this money at the damn slot machine. I was like, this nigga here.
With his own money though.
Big L. Right?
Do Dr. Umar does he even practice and has a job?
Works for somebody?
No, I think he does a lot of speaking and stuff.
Yeah, he does speaking. He gets paid out here.
Okay, but nonetheless, you can't be a guy that's always asking for donations and then you're going to the casino to gamble. It's just not a good look.
I don't think you're gonna be able to run a school on donations.
Run my donations. You're the like Prince Pan-Africanism.
And the crazy thing is, we got a guy in his early 20s in Georgia who already got a school going on, already got a school running because he also uses the government system, work with the government. Yeah, you may not like the government, but you're still gonna need them, you know.
Here's the thing: it's by default. It ain't like you're gonna need them. Black folks were at a.
You are.
We're at a disadvantage.
Accreditation or that you're gonna need them.
We're at a disadvantage.
There's no way around that.
If we need them for charter school, sure, but we're at a disadvantage anyways. The fact that we can't teach our own, like this at critical race theory, Florida just struck that from the books. We can't even teach our true history in school. They say that's teaching hate instead of teaching racism. We're at a disadvantage that it's only an elective for us to learn about our real history. No other group would do that. They highlight all their winnings. They make ours selective or an elective. We learn about 3-4 peaceful peacekeepers. That's about it. And the rest, if you want to learn more, it's a college elective course if you want to learn more. No one else would do that to their own people's history. So it is a major disadvantage. I'm saying we need to have something where we can teach our kids this, that, and my son's homeschooled, and part of even the homeschool curriculum for Florida, you still have to learn these folks' history if they want to understand. And so we could throw our stuff in there, be like, hey, also we do it in there but they still need to know when it's time for them to take a test. Hey, do you know about Columbus as well? There's out there. They force it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's kind of crazy. So it's at a disadvantage. Like I said, only a fool that his enemies teaches children in that sense. And that's what's happening. The fact that in that aspect of that it is in a sense like it's part of the system that does do that. Because even when these people started to try to speak on when they felt like, I think critical race theory is the fact that they're trying to say America wasn't founded when it was, but when the first slave got here, in a sense, these white folks are like, oh no, that's teaching racism. To think, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? They don't. It's wild, bro. It's wild. We're really at a major disadvantage in that aspect. The fact that we do allow them to teach us our own history, and like I said before, it makes black folks know more about America than Americans do, because white Americans only know about their history. We have to know about the real history. How did we get here? So that's why we be thinking that they're actual racist or they don't know. They really don't know. They don't have to know. It's not a requirement. We learn our own history, you know what I'm saying? So we actually know the real history of America. They think we're just being ungrateful, but we know the real history. They don't know the history because it's not required. They don't choose to, but it's not required. Ain't nobody going out their way to do extra work. It don't affect you. If I ask you the history of Jerusalem or any other place, Iraq, it don't affect you. Why would you, you know what I'm saying? Why would you check it out for it? But because because we're a part of the populace here, but they never had a place for us or ever thought about us, they just do selective history and that's it. They don't, you know what I'm saying? They don't really tell you the history, the bombings or anything, stuff like some of the most atrocious acts that happen to black folks. None of it's on the books. It should just get whitewashed all over again. They just make it seem like black folks were slaves and that was the end of it. And we fought and kept moving.
Another thing too, like even within their history, it's almost like we're not even in there.
Mm-hmm.
We're not even in their government history. It's like we don't even exist in that shit. Like, damn.
Yeah, it's it's so crazy, man. You know, it's
Let
a
me
wild
interject. Looks like Lakers about to take game 2 from the Phoenix. I'm very happy about that right now.
That means they're winning. That means they won home court advantage if they win
one home court advantage. That's what we like to see.
That's all I had on pop. For politics, let me see. We got 3 on politics. The Tokyo Olympic, they'll penalize athletes for showing any support to Black Lives Matter or anything, wearing any T-shirt, outfit, or anything like that, or even raising a fist.
Yeah, I did hear about that.
But it's like that. It's like that at all Olympics.
All Olympics?
No, it ain't.
Nah.
Yeah, it is. Because they don't want. That's why those black. Remember the black one, the guys put up the black fist. They got stripped of their medals that Olympic, because they don't want you putting up social issues that undermines your country on the world stage. Because what if Chinese citizens start doing that on their stage? Or I'm saying this is a global game. They like to keep their encounters in-house. They don't want the world stage to be your stage.
China did not play that.
Yeah,
China did not play that. You're not coming back to China.
So what if they wear the no Asian hate shirts? How about that?
It's
the fact that
it's the fact social thing. You do that, they're stripping you of the gold. They're stripping you of
no, but I think they specifically said no Black Lives Matter stuff.
Who you think they said that?
They didn't say no.
Who you think put
for
that?
The black people.
No, who you think caused Korea to? Who you think is telling Tokyo to do that? Or Japan? Who you think? You think it's them that was anti-Black Lives Matter?
People, yeah.
It's what country doesn't want to be showed on the global stage like that? Who you think told them, "Hey, slip that in there"?
U.S.
You know what I'm saying? It's simple as that. The same way like those Olympians back in the days put up the black fist, they got stripped when they came back. They were shunned when they came back.
Now, do you think any athletes will be punished for wearing a no Asian hate shirt?
I'm not sure.
How about all lives matter?
I'm not sure. It's not even maybe, who knows? It's not Asia's running it, but you're saying it's all about, like I said, it's all about connections in a sense. Asia wouldn't have an issue with that. Asia don't even probably have an issue with Black Lives Matter. If America tells them that, hey, we don't need them wearing all this type of stuff, it's gonna make us look bad, they're gonna move accordingly. Because the world wanted to postpone the Olympics again. You know what I'm saying? They already telling you no guests, but these people don't spend so much money. They're like, nah, we going forward with it. You know what I'm saying? But I think they
bring the money.
Yeah, they're not having it. They don't spend all that bread. They're planning on having it, but it's wild. I can see them doing it though. It's messed up, but I can see why they're doing it. It's politics. It's messed up, but it's politics.
What else you got in pop culture? Politics, Gray.
Let's see, we got the Black Lives Matter activist Sarah Johnson shot in the head in London in a brutal attack. She's in critical conditions.
Yeah, I don't even know who she is, and everyone's Black Lives Matter if you're black on TV anyway. So who's I don't even know what that means.
She's one of the founders?
No.
She's an activist, I guess.
Who isn't a Black Lives Matter? You know what I'm saying? They throw that on any black person that's pro-black life.
Yeah, I think she was on Black Lives Matter, but I think she was over in the UK, I believe. I don't think it's a US born.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
It's always something. I got anything else?
Let's see. Last one I got is is this a financial insurance company called CNA, and they had to pay $40 million in ransom for to regain their control of their network because they were hacked.
Mm-hmm.
Just like the same thing we had happened to the
gas pipeline.
Yeah. So they
I did hear something about $40 million.
In the future,
so
they're just gonna start.
And they got the hackers got the money.
Oh yeah,
of course. It's ransomware. They always get it.
That's might be a career we all need to invest in.
Listen, all that's gonna happen in the future. They're just gonna start killing people. They're just gonna preemptively kill too smart people that are too smart to hack. People You ain't working for us, you're gonna work against us, dog. These hackers are getting out of control, costing people money, freezing
Well,
up.
I mean, that's the problem. The problem is you have companies who won't invest in cybersecurity because, like, oh, we don't necessarily need it until they need it, right? Like in the healthcare field, like for example, like let's say someone go hack Wellington, right? From a violation standpoint, Wellington has to pay at least 6 figures per each chart that gets violated, right? So of course, healthcare will typically spend a lot of money because the money that they would have to invest in the hopes that it never happened is too much, right? Like the amount of money they'd have to spend, like they don't want those problems, right? But a lot of these companies, you know, even that oil company up north, right? Like, you know, again, they don't invest in the cybersecurity.
Six figures for one chart.
Yeah, usually like 100,000.
Yeah, those
if you're able to get in there, you know how easy it is to get all the charts. If you're able to get in there,
Listen, so in the future, I can see them just taking people out. They're like, y'all getting too smart, y'all costing us too much money. The same way that if you're a nuclear physicist in certain countries like Iran, you just drive and they blow up your truck, they assassinate you.
To prosecute, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They don't even take you to jail. They just take you out because you're too smart. They don't want the information spreading. That's what they're gonna start doing to hackers. The hackers gonna start getting too smart. They're gonna start deploying hit teams, bro. You know what I'm saying? You might think you done download some files from iTunes. They're gonna say, okay, they're gonna get that IP, send someone out, send that strike team after you.
Yeah, it's gonna be hard to do, yeah. So,
it's hard to do, but trust me, these people have their methods, and not to mention it's thieving at the end of the day. It's a salacious field. These dudes will sell out and
you
come work for the government.
Wi-Fi. You know, you could use like, you know, somebody's Wi-Fi. You could use public Wi-Fi.
Listen, person will use someone's Wi-Fi and use someone's Wi-Fi, and the next thing you know, you go that person else, that person end up dead. You know why? You might call them down. You're like, oh, you might, yeah, them boys hot, man. Them boys hot. It might get to one of those. And then it's about proving, because the same thing happens when the nuclear scientists and all that stuff. Those people go to publics, they go to schools, they go to colleges, they learn and all that stuff. They're not doing nothing illegal, and we still shoot them down or blow up their cars and everything else. They got their education here.
Yeah, just for affiliation, yeah.
Just for, because the information you learned, we can't allow you to get back at a country that's our opponent. You know what I'm saying? So it happens. It's global politics. So, and I can see it when it gets to that point. Remember they started shooting down the pirates? Because them pirates are robbing the cruise ships and all that stuff all the time. And they never reveal how much they end up paying in ransom when they get them. But every now and then when they don't want to pay, you know what I'm saying? That's how it goes. It's messed up. Got anything else?
That's it for me.
I got any recommendations for the week?
I don't think I have anything else. I don't know if I watched any TV or anything recently.
What about you, Barry?
Yeah, it's so funny. I'm still behind on like the classics. I think I'm gonna finally pick up and start watching The Wire.
Barry still hasn't watched The Wire.
You haven't watched one episode of The Wire?
I watched I think I'm like halfway through the one season, and I just stopped watching it.
Oh, what I watched? I watched the Banker with his name.
You make it past season 2 of The Wire.
Jackson and what's that other dude name?
The Banker.
Yeah,
I think I watched that.
Well, that one Samuel, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was supposed to come out. I remember I forgot Railroading or something. I remember that.
Yeah, it's a great movie. Yeah, but it's amazing how back then, like, they were able to do that, and today, like, you know, you don't really see anybody reaching that level of getting things like this done.
I watched it.
Like, owning like that much property, owning banks. It's crazy.
Did they show how they lost it?
Yeah, they were what was it? What's his name? Forgot the main character. Well, he went back home to Texas, and at that time, Texas was like one of those states who was really like really racist. Like they're like, you know, like nah, like you black, you just ain't owning shit. So you had one of the guys in there, like out of one of the bank that he wanted to buy, and that guy was just following him everywhere until he really found out, who was, behind
Right.
the white guy that they use
I did watch it, yeah.
in the bank.
Because they would send a white guy to go make the purchases for them on their behalf.
Yeah.
So the people that were selling the banks would think they're selling to a white guy, but then they eventually found out that it was a black guy that owned all these banks, and they
That's
ended up
how you gotta play the game
everything.
sometimes. That's how you gotta don't be too bold to not have a white face to get this bread. You gotta sometimes put a white guy as the face of the company just to get this bread. You gotta play their games.
That's just like appraising houses, bro.
Yeah.
Like when
crazy.
When you like Barry, if you ever decide to sell your house, all them pictures behind you, you gotta take them all down.
They out of there.
unless you're okay with losing about $100K off of your house.
Exactly.
You gotta take all them pictures down, bro.
Shit crazy.
I've been in the market house and now it's wild, bro. It's wild. The people overbidding for everything. You can get in no deals anymore right now.
Especially when it's multi-family units, because we've been looking for some.
Yeah.
That shit is treacherous out here, bro.
Ain't nobody giving them up, man. You ain't giving them up.
People selling half of duplexes, bro. I'm like, how you sell half of a duplex?
Yeah, yeah.
They keep selling.
Like a condo, yeah.
Disrespectful, bro. You selling half of a duplex? I'm like, bro, come on.
Yeah, these people ain't dumb, bro. They try to eat. No, it's treacherous out there, bro.
Man, remember when they were available, damn. Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. Everybody was saying we can't wait till the market crash and then come up. Ain't no market crash.
This market ain't crashing, bro.
Ain't no market crash coming, big.
This market ain't crashing. Because the thing is, like back then, like we didn't know how to gain wealth. We didn't know nothing about wealth. Now we know.
Not only that, but the fact that the government subsidized so much stuff right now.
Yeah, the government subsidy is really helping.
Yeah, a lot of people aren't hurting. Like,
the moratorium ends next month. But you're not gonna see a crash. Per se.
A lot of folks are gonna allow to put their missed payments on the back end of their deal, so they're gonna be good on that. And they helped out a lot of folks, and a lot of people are stacked up as well. And they're gonna be in the market as well. They're like, they ain't had to pay to push on the background. Now they're gonna be buying the things that are gonna make the price go up even more, bro. Shit is getting insane.
Oh yeah.
Well, no, that's the goal now. You just gotta if once they get to the point where they got it on the MLS trying to sell it, they're lost. Don't even worry about that type of house. So you gotta catch the people who need that new roof done, need everything house look junky. You gotta buy it from them right then and there.
Exactly.
Just buy it.
Yeah, it's getting wild. So yeah, that market I've been looking.
You just gotta ride around, look for shitty houses, and knock on the door like, "Hey man, you want to sell?"
Mm-hmm. That's the hood. The hood's gonna get bought up.
That's already happened. The banks are in the game as well now. So
yeah,
Zillow's in the game. The people that's helping you find the houses are in the game as well.
Exactly.
We're underpricing certain neighborhoods so they could go in and buy, and they can flip it to BlackRock, the big banks. It's getting wild, man. How about you? Any recommendations?
What have I watched recently? I haven't watched anything recently new, bro. I finally paid for. Well, I got a free YouTube Prime membership.
Mm-hmm. How'd you get it for free? I paid good money. That shit is expensive. That's like my most expensive membership, bro. That's like
it's like
$60.
Yeah, for the family plan.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, bro.
I ended up buying a Chromecast recently, and it came with free 3 months.
I might have to do that. That's cheaper than the thing or the code. It's ridiculous, bro. But YouTube is so informative now.
And those ads are killing me was killing me on YouTube, bro. Like every 3 minutes you get ads. And sometimes they don't even let you skip the ads no more. You have to wait through 2 ads.
Right. Yep. You gotta wait that whole 15 seconds and
yeah, man, that was a killer. So I've just been enjoying that membership so much. I might end up paying for it like you are, Nate, after this 3 months.
Yeah, it's a game changer, you know? Especially you saying you go in there and learn minutes, you have different subscribe to different stuff. It's dope. Watch different documentaries. YouTube is definitely a game changer. Yeah, I don't have anything. I'll have to. I guess I could back with Barry had. Yeah, you said you're gonna finally watch The Wire or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, The Wire. I'll say that. I said The Honor the week before, right? Or Your Honor.
I think you gave that like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, so that's it. Other than that, did I ever give the thing then? How about Invincible?
You never recommended that.
Yeah, that's a good animated series. If folks are into that, it's on Amazon. It's like adult animation. Stellar reviews. Already got renewed for 3 seasons after the first season. Between that and the Barry's The Wire, I'll go with those two. I guess we can sign us off.
All right, Barry. We appreciate you giving us this 1 year and a half COVID response.
Yes.
To the episode we had, a year and a half ago? It's been a while. But we definitely appreciate you coming through, blessing us with some knowledge, letting everybody know they're not taking COVID serious no more.
That's okay.
So
okay. God bless them.
It's like the vaccine is the virus, not the actual virus.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I remember when
everybody's trying to stay away from the vaccine and not even worrying about the actual virus. Let's stay away from the vaccine.
I remember when COVID started, they're blaming it on the 5G satellites.
You said what?
Remember when COVID started, folks were trying to blame it on the 5G satellites?
Yeah.
Crazy times, though.
Thanks again, Barry. We appreciate it.
All right. I appreciate it, fellas.
You want to give your socials or anything? Let people know you can find you.
I'm at Dr. Barry Pierre on all social media platforms. Lunch and Learn podcast. Check me out as well too. Like I said, this week I'm actually talking about the flu. If you happen to be listening to the week that this drops, the flu is not here thanks to the COVID and y'all wearing y'all masks. So we much appreciate it in the hospital.
You're very pro-black pro-black podcast on Black health. I want to say on this podcast how we need I feel like we don't have a black database as far as for medicine of everything from standard
everything that affects black health, like yeah.
What I mean, the standard, like when they do like body weight index, lifespan. You know what I'm saying? In school, they just show you the default, which would be the white populace. And right. I think I would like medicine in a sense to start getting to the point where it is in a sense where it's segregated. We could put in the thing black male and automatically his strokes would already adjust accordingly. Where you wouldn't be seen as fat, BMI or something. You know what I'm saying? Or because
do you think that would be necessary, Barry? Or do you think the one that's available now is
the one that's available unfortunately is kind of based on more of a European based standards. Mm-hmm. Like honestly, to be real, like they just need to base one on US standards, right? And then I think that would help adjust a lot of things. I think we're our standards kind of based off kind of the UK, and obviously they eat different, they eat smaller portions, like everything is much different over there. So America's an obese society right now, so if you kind of move it over closer to what we model, I think that would definitely help.
I think it just makes sense. The more data, the more better. Now in the information
would it normalize obesity in a way?
I don't know about normalize it. I don't think we'll never normalize. Yeah.
We would have our version of obesity. You know what I'm saying? We'll have whatever is considered our thing. Just in general. You know what I'm saying? I think every country should have their own. Imagine different. You know what I'm saying? If you're in a different places in different countries in Africa and stuff and such like that. It'd be wild that they'll be the same standards. They have a different lifestyle, eat different food, life expectancy. Saying we can't be going. I'm saying everything's a little bit different. I think with the data that we have now, especially in the information age, you should need to clumping it all together and saying once we start having it'll come out for the best. Basically, the more data, I don't see the harm that could come from it. Yeah. But it seems like you're working on it. I don't know if it's by choice or by accident. You tend to have the doctor.
One thing we don't talk about is like the neighborhoods, even old neighborhoods, where like a lot of our people live. Like a lot of them being neglected, like from like the water pipelines haven't been like maintained. Live like like around like what do you call that? Power
They,
plants,
they live,
industrial,
a lot of our folks live in industrial areas.
yeah,
Yeah.
industrial parts of like the areas, even cemeteries too. All that, yeah. So I think that's something that also affect like black health too. Yeah.
Well, that's a good aspect of it. There's just different stuff from everything from when
Simply
Barry
just from the location, not being able to find like some like healthy food to eat. You just got the little corner store where you could get some like snack chips and.
Oh, they speak on food deserts. It just be crazy because every time I see on Barry's podcast, he mentions a disease. It's rarely often that I hear that black folks will suffer for it more than that. Every time I mention those things it affects black folks for every disease, bro. It's wild. I'm like, damn, this shouldn't. You saying? Yeah. I feel that this needs to be studied more. It can't just be by default. We suffer from everything.
You know what another disease that also affects black folks more? COVID.
Exactly. That's true. That's true.
Because like I see like every time I go to Walmart, I see like people's carts. It's nothing but snacks.
But it's not just food. I'm just talking about medical, just in general, everything. It's not this.
Yeah, I mean, those are the sources. Yeah.
It's not what I mean. It's not just a social diet. I'm just talking about just medicine and period. Like we said, because those sources in affecting pregnancy, you know what I'm saying, and black women dying higher at a mortality. So there's different stuff that, you know what I'm saying, that impact. I just feel medicine in general.
That's one of them. One of the cause.
I think they just need to have black health in general. Black health needs to be a thing. You know what I'm saying? It might sound like it's segregationist in a sense, or segregationist, but it needs to be a thing. There needs to be more of it where they can look online and get the norm. You know what I'm saying? It's all sorts of things that go on.
You got to start with the locations, yeah.
Yeah, and you got to start by black people visiting black physicians, because I believe black physicians take care of black people better than white physicians take care of black people. I mean, white physicians take care of black people.
It makes a difference. It makes a difference. My daughter goes to she had her doctor, and they started giving the girls what's that one vaccine now? The one that's supposed to present HPV.
Gardavax, I think.
Gardavax. You choose if you want to give your kids that, but my wife said, next time I'm gonna wait a little bit later to do that. And the lady said, well, if you're gonna be at my practice or my thing, I give my patients this. She's pushing her own shit on my, you know what I'm saying? It's wild. Some people avoid it because like they don't want their kids to be sexually active, so they're not even giving them something that does it. And some people say, we just said we'll just wait a year to give it, but she was like, nah, if you want to be at my practice, you have to get it. You have to get it. I've never heard of such. It's kind of fucking wild. It's insane, but this is what happens. You don't go to someone else if you're kind. It's not unless you're playing. It's kind of wild. You know what I'm saying?
It was a white physician.
She's, I believe, Asian. Because it's the same way. Like they're pushing Gardavax on the boys too. Because even though HPV isn't nowhere as prevalent, nowhere in the guys, but they want to protect both sexes. But it's one of those things, like I tell you, it's medicine reacting to a social standard as opposed to an actual medical. You know what I'm saying?
Is that even allowed in practice, Barry, for you to tell your patient that, hey, if you're not taking this, you're not allowed to come to my practice?
If a physician has, the right to, this, like, for example, like, let's say you have high blood pressure. If your every time you come to see me, your blood pressure not controlled. Your blood pressure not controlled. Next time you see me, I'm kicking out my practice. So they can, a physician can always decide, who's in their practice or not. That's for sure.
Listen, when you're black, you're gonna feel the experience of everything more. That's just how it goes.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
but that'd be like a physician telling a gay person, if you don't start taking this, you can't come to my office if you don't take whatever the preventive AIDS
Truvada, right? Definitely. Yeah.
Mind you, most won't for good sense, but that's what I'm saying. Shit like that, but the shit black folks experience at medical offices, it'd be crazy sometimes. So that's why I think there'd be a bigger black database. It's a good thing that I don't know by default that you're working on that, or just by your physician lineup of people that's calling you. So I think it's definitely a way to almost like a WebMD, but for black WebMD for black folks. I think
it's very easy. It's very easy. Like obviously my circle is black doctors.
Exactly.
So it's very easy for me to just reach out to more Black doctors over and over and over again. And to the point where it becomes normalized, like, oh, okay, yeah, he's got an allergist on there. Oh, he's got a pulmonologist. Oh, he's got an infectious. Like, it's like, so you can see that, like, yeah, we got Black folks out here. It's just,
do you ever get pushback for having a Black physician circle?
He didn't even notice he was doing it.
Nah, yeah, I didn't even realize until someone emailed me and said, this podcast is racist. And then I looked, I was like, what is he talking about? I was like, oh, okay, I see what you mean. I see where you're coming from.
But they never pay any mind to all the ones that have nothing but white folks on there. See?
Correct.
They never made that. He didn't even notice they're doing it. It's kind of wild in that aspect. It just like another big one. Like, remember you told me with the one with just the fact of being on the transplant list, how it's shown that when Black folks need that transplant, they make us get on the
we get on it later.
We get on it later.
We're not referred soon enough, and
we're getting dialysis first, when really you don't have to get dialysis to be on the list. You go on the list first, like everyone else. This is shit that's standard, that's impacting us, that go a long way. So that's why I'm saying it'd be good to know that just knowing those facts is kind of it's kind of wild, man.
Mm-hmm.
We might just need Black medicine media, period. And that might just need to be a show on Black. You know what I'm saying?
We need Black everything.
Definitely, but medicine, this is life. This is impacting life, so it might just need to be segments. You know, like they have the weather segment. We might just need to have Black medicine, 15 minutes cover. Hey guys, this, that, other. It might just need to be norm. Need to be cut in.
Yeah. A lot of time we're really just not thought of, and even like if they have anything that they do for themselves, it's just for them, like and a lot of time it doesn't fit us. Our lifestyle, the way we work, the way we function, all that.
I mean, the way we push in mental health and everything else now. We push everything else as European straight to the bone. We ain't cover our health yet, or we jump into mental health. I find that I find the same way Black mental health is a big thing in Black media right now. How do we jump to that and we cover it on the same? So it could be covered if we can make room for it. We figure it's spicy. I think if health needs to be covered just the same. Make a segment for it. Is that a third? It's not just the same way it got trendy to go vegan or anything like that, but it goes in the deeper level. Just medicine all around, I think. Either way, that's about it. That's all. Let me jump off my horse.
All right, folks. Y'all already know what to do. Hit us up on That's Absurd Pod on Instagram. That's Absurd Pod on Twitter. That's Absurd Podcast on, what did I say? Facebook. You can always drop an email at that'sabsurdpodcast@gmail.com. And the voice line is always open. You can drop an email voicemail at 407-900-6076. That number is 407-900-6076.
I got it that time.
Yeah, I got it the first time, folks. All right, folks. Appreciate it again, Barry.
All right, fellas.
All right.